And we are back into game number 1 we go, and we are going to be starting it off with a little bit of an invade action. So into the bot lane, they've been spotted out. This is Gentle Hearts on the offense, looking to push back Star Nation, and they're actually going to get a ton of damage here. JMG going to be going low, and just like that, it's first blood for Gentle Hearts. That's not something I would have expected at all off rip this game.
Yeah, very interesting. Both teams go straight to the boss side, and most importantly, they were able to give that kill over to Kami. And he chooses not to reset, not to get that extra item advantage, but to instead use that prio to set up vision over the bot lane, bot side jungle, and looks like they're going to be aiming to steal the red buff. Now, Eugene from Star Nation has noticed that. He's starting to run up to the top side, Darken Warrior. Already got some vision over in the top side jungle. So most likely we're just going to see a nice handshake of them just vertical jungling against each other. But what that really opens up is a lot more pressure towards the bot side of Star Nation. They're going to have 3 on the bot side for the next foreseeable future. While they do have an advantage top, it's a Skarner. It's not someone that's easy to dive. It's someone that's a huge lane bully early, but still tanky enough that Fiora and Xin Zhao really should not be able to put a lot of kill pressure towards them.
Yeah, it's a good thing for Gentle Hearts. If they put Skarner on the weak side and Skarner's able to absorb that pressure, it can be a really nice win condition early on for Gentle Hearts. And I like your analysis there, Toki. They're most certainly going to vertical jungle, but we've actually missed here in the bot side. Kami's gonna die. That's actually really unfortunate because now he's going to miss all these minions that both JMG and Maker stacked up in the bot side. And now, with the time that they've got with that 2v2 kill, they know that Corndog is here in the jungle taking away the camps. Eugene is almost here as well. He's going to go into the mist to try and escape, but Valder's here on the flank as well. It's going to be a 4v1. JMG flashes forward. The flash came through from Corndog, but it's too late because the dredge line lands, and that's going to be 2 kills now in this extended play for Star Nation. They bounce right back after a rough start.
Yeah, very unfortunate for the Gentle Hearts Gaming. I'm assuming JMG managed to get a hook over towards Kami, and that combo between Caitlyn and Nautilus is able to put out so much damage once they get that level 2. And I'd also like to point out, Kami had to use Flash, had to use Heal, and was still unable to survive. And very smart to push that pressure straight into the bot jungle. While we do see a fight breaking out mid.
Eugene onto Teals, who's going to be able to escape without using any summer spells. Corn Dog and Skedaddle are here as well, so Skarner getting involved in the mid lane, moving down from the top side, but has to make a beeline back to that top tower because it's going to lose a lot of minions when that massive wave that Fiora has stacked up has crashed. But it also has to be darkened to be careful. Wants to push this wave underneath the tower, but does have to realize that Corn Dog is here in the river and they could look for a gank if they wanted to, but that doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And Skedaddle will get here in time to catch this wave. Now, an unfortunate situation in the bot lane right now. Eugene just making his presence known. The frozen wave here is really tough for Cammy and Tactics to deal with, especially when there's no summoner spells on the Jhin. You feel really unsafe walking up, especially knowing the enemy jungler is in that bot side. And now they're going to push this one out and likely look to take a reset on this crash.
Yeah, but one very interesting thing to point out. So while they do have a 6 to 700 gold league on Star Nation right now, Eugene doesn't have any camps up on his side. All the fighting happened on their side of the map, and after he did the little bit of pressure in the bot side, he chose not to invade the bot side. So now Corndog is able to clear out all of his camps, which are all still up, by the way. So he's going to get himself a pretty massive CS lead.
In the mid lane, Dredge line will land. This is a massive wave for Teals to die on, and will use the flash early to conserve HP. So nicely done from Teals. Going to be able to pick up some of this farm and not miss out on that. But good roam from JMG to force some summoner spells in the mid lane from Gentle Hearts, and we'll see how well Star Nation can punish this in the future.
Yeah, and it really is going to come down to that punish. Vex really has no mobility. If the wave's in a bad spot and they choose to dive her, they should be able to just consistently dive her on repeat. And with Velder gonna be having level 6 soon, and still has the flash Petrifying Gaze may be enough for them and Eugene to just elect to fully dive onto Teals. A little bit of a CS lead starting to build up in the top lane as well. But we can talk about it later, as it does seem like there's going to be a 3v3 happening in the bot side.
Could be a 3v3. JMG and Maker, they're trying to get aggressive. Corn Dog has run into Eugene here inside of the entrance to the river, and Eugene will push him back for the moment. Deadly Flourish will find the root. They're going to walk forward. Tactics can't find the pull, and the Xin Zhao will be safe. And that play could have been a lot bigger than it did, but the junglers found themselves before anything else could break out. And
yeah,
actually,
and
wait a minute, was that a
solo kill on the top side?
It was an execute. What the hell happened there?
And a kill in the mid. Okay, we're just having action, all sorts of... Yeah, it looks like Darkin Warrior somehow was able to get an execute. Not entirely sure what happened, but in the mid lane, Teal still has his ultimate as well. Flash burned by Velder. Really hard to tell what's going on right now in these fights. It seems that both sides are just kind of brawling. But we'll get the next kill as the fight starts to break down bot side. Missed hook though, so that's probably going to be nothing.
Oh, and we have a pause. It looks like Eugene was the one to disconnect, and so the pause will be initiated. Don't want to play 4 versus 5, but yeah, I can't believe... Well, we talked about Teals potentially being punished for having to burn the flash when JMG invaded the mid lane, but that is not actually the case. It's Teals finding a solo kill and burning Valder's flash, so that advantage for Star Nation in mid lane has completely evaporated there. And we don't know what happened with the execute, but at the very least, Darkin didn't give that kill to Skedaddle, so you have, at the very least, a positive trade for Gentle Hearts as Teals is able to make some magic happen in the mid lane and find the solo kill.
Yeah, and most importantly, the gold is now fully evened out. We are at 10.1k to both sides. But I also want to take a note. Kami, after that death, went and got a cull. So I don't normally see that picked up on champions like Jhin, but he's been able to farm it up. He's CSing well. There hasn't been too much action in the bot side, so it doesn't look like he's going to be punished for this pick. And because of that, it's going to give him a pretty substantial boost in gold. And most of Jin's items, depending on if he goes lethality or not, don't cost too much. So he's going to be able to translate this into a lot of power early on, as we do have the game continuing on. Corndog running down.
JMG is going to face check this brush and run right into Corndog with the Spectral Maw going to CC him up, but nice buffer with the dredge line. So JMG, despite getting rooted by the Deadly Flourish, can get out of that situation with only losing about half of his health. So nice escape there from the Star Nation bot side. This dragon is up. It has yet to be taken here from either of these teams, but a lot of priority and emphasis has been placed here in the bot side from both Eugene and Corndog recently. So I believe both of these teams do want the ability to get priority over this river and take this dragon. Right now, the priority, though, has gone the way of Star Nation. They've moved into the river. Wind becomes lightning will hit the Chemtech Drake, and it's going to be Star Nation to start this up. 3 people from Gentle Hearts are in the area, though, and that's enough to scare them away. So we've yet to see when that first Drake will be taken. Here's Skedaddle as well. Didn't even realize he's been making his way from that top side, and now the fight is going to break out. In the middle of it is Valder, who's dropping very low. The Impale onto 3 is going to be massive from the Skarner, and this looks like Gentle Hearts are going to be the ones to win this fight for the moment. It's a double kill for Tactics. Teal's getting involved, and is going to find the snipe. Wow, that did so much damage. I can't believe that skill shot actually was able to kill the Q from the Vex, and it makes it a massive win for Gentle Hearts in the river.
Yeah, that Skedaddle roam was fantastic. You saw he shoved his lane in, made sure that Fiora was under her tower, and did not use his teleport, but instead elected to use that priority to walk down into that fight. And while he did die, he was able to get a 3-man Impale, and because he didn't burn his teleport, he was able to come back and catch the wave. Dark and Warrior wasn't able to trade that much back for it. All he got was 1 plate. Really, really smart play and very smart usage of tempo by Skedaddle.
Absolutely. Being proactive in the top lane, something that a lot of top players underutilize is your ability to impact the map even after way long ago when the teleport summoner spell was changed so that you couldn't teleport to minions pre the certain minute threshold. But now let's take our focus now to this Grubs fight. It's once again another fight for the neutral objective. It's 4 people grouped up strong for both teams. Flash away from Tactics on the dredge line. Now the fight is going to begin. Demonic Ascension is forward, and Skedaddle is going to be the first one to drop, but the fight will continue. Corndog is trying to take up in the front line, trying to get the reset onto JMG. Gonna flash forward, but can't quite finish it off. Tactics is able to get it in the end. No flash, trying to run away from Darkened Warrior, who continues the pursuit. Demonic Ascension will stay online as long as he has lots of people in the circle. Gonna find the pull onto 2, but the Petrifying Gaze will stop him in his tracks. Teal's trying to find the damage to kill off Eugene. It's not going to quite be enough. And that is going to be Star Nation Esports winning this fight for the moment. Can Eugene with the happy feet dodge away from the curtain call? He can, and Corndog is on the pursuit. Off the respawn, looking for Eugene, who's recalling in this brush and is shopping. No, you cannot window shop, my friend. You're sitting in the shop when you don't know the Viego's right outside of that brush, and he's going to pick up the kill and the aftermath of that fight. But Star Nation, a lot better fight from that last one at the Drake Pit.
Another very close fight, but the difference was all of the ultimates on Star Nation were up. Skedaddle's was still on a 10-second cooldown as that fight began. And that's exactly what made the difference. Star Nation did not have high health bars by the end of that fight. But as we do see Corndog leaves the Grub, looking towards maybe a topside play.
Gonna look for a top gank. It's Teal's up here, not Skedaddle. Darkin does not have ultimate, does not have flash. Gonna have to put on his best BLG bin cosplay to try and outplay this one, but does a ton of damage to Corndog and is actually going to get out. That's not what I was expecting. Excellent outplay from Darkin to stay alive in the top side and also deny that 3rd Grub from being taken by Gentle Hearts.
Yeah, and because they saw Corndog up there in the top side, Star Nation is now able to just walk in, take the dragon. We do have a little bit of a lane swap, though I believe it's more just everyone still reeling from the pressure of the previous fight. Skedaddle's catching the bot side, and because of that, they have Cryo bot lane. They saw the Gentle Hearts brought to top, and that just gave them a free dragon. Corndog will eventually be able to pick up that 3rd Grub, but overall, probably a pretty even trade, though Star Nation was able to do that without the proactive play. So being able to bring it back is definitely in their benefit.
And I think it's valuable for Gentle Hearts to deny the Grubs away from Star Nation because of what I was talking about earlier in Champ Select and how Star Nation, if they would like to have an effective side lane team, two strong champions in the side lane like Cassio and Fiora especially when hitting towers would be a big beneficiary of lot of grubs, as many as Star Nation could take. So I think the trade here for Gentle Hearts and Drakes and Grubs is going to be worth it as long as they can prevent future dragon stacking towards Soul. Now we'll look towards the mid lane. Teals now has that dredge line that's going to hit his face. The depth charge will hit as well. The petrifying gaze and the miasma cannot go anywhere. The CC was layered perfectly. Star Nation pick up a kill in mid.
Yeah, really solid play coming out. They brought all three there. And they didn't even bother trying to go with any skill shots, just Nautilus ulti. They knew they didn't have to risk anything. Just wait for it to get the knockup. Teals, even with the flash, wasn't able to get enough distance. And it's a free kill for them.
And they're going to be able to deny the wave under the mid tower. Now Corndog here in the tribe rush. Eugene is here clearing vision. It might get pulled. Spots tactics with the sweeper. Three people grouped up strong for both these teams in the bot lane. But there's no objective to take on the map right now. Potentially Gentle Hearts were looking for a dive angle. Now the vision's being cleared away from Star Nation. They found JMG, but this will only be a trade of damage. I think Corndog is here just to keep his bot lane safe while they shove this wave in. They do not want Eugene to get involved and to potentially get 2 kills here for Star Nation. Now Teals, though, moving from the mid lane on the mini-map, and Gentle Hearts want to make a play happen right now. They are not investing all of this time down here for nothing. They're clearing away the vision. The missing pings are coming through from Star Nation, but Eugene's going to start the fight off and is going to walk immediately into death. Miscommunication on the map, and now Gentle Hearts pull the trigger on their play. The Shadow Surge will be flashed away from JMG, who now has to deal with the curtain call as well. Pulled back by the Swain, but should be tanky enough to survive the onslaught for the moment, but the play will continue. Gentle Hearts isn't done yet. Valder is staying in mid, so there will be no reinforcements here for Star Nation. The dive will continue. Tactics tanking the tower. They find the kill onto Maker. JMG is the next target. He's the last one standing, runs into the trap. That was Corndog cosplaying the Caitlyn, and Gentle Hearts, excellent use of their time. They get 3 in the bot lane.
That was really excellent diving mechanics. They juggled the aggro perfectly. But I have to wonder how the play even came to be. Velder had priority mid and was pinging off the fact that Teals wasn't there. Teals wasn't there for a while. And Eugene kind of... I don't think there's any way to properly sugarcoat it. He kind of entered the play a little bit there. Yeah. And because of that, they were able to snowball that into so many kills. They got 3 kills off of that, denied a huge wave, because Maker was not trying to last hit those minions. He was trying to survive that entire time. And they were able to get that without a single death. We do have an invade coming out, though.
Also see a gank in the top side, but Skedaddle is going to quite literally skedaddle out of there. Quite hilarious how that works. And it's priority right now for Star Nation around this Rift Herald. JMG is going to aggro it, and they will start it up. It doesn't look like, with the map state right now and where Gentle Hearts players are, that they want to contest. They're fine with giving away this objective, and that is going to be their choice. They might want to shop and spend that extra gold that they've earned from that bot lane play and play towards these dragons. So this will be Star Nation's Rift Herald, and we'll see how they use it. Maybe they can crack the mid lane tower and use that to get the second dragon, which is coming up momentarily.
Yeah, and I think Gentle Hearts, it was smart of them not to go for that. While they did have a really good play on the bot side, they invested a lot in order to make that play happen. And
that's the Shadow Surge, and they're going to try and make a plan to JMG. The Deadly Flourish maximum range is going to root up the Nautilus. The pull won't land, though, so that's a Vex ultimate invested for almost nothing. They did chunk the Nautilus. They do have Prio of the Drake, so at the very least, they're going to get it. Probably could have got it anyways without using those spells, and actually Darkin made his way down now, too. The top lane tower has been taken. But that's going to be just a clean take from Gentle Hearts, and they already, on the second Drake, stop any sort of dream of an early soul for Star Nation.
Yeah, and they're pressuring mid right away at the same time, which I think is a little bit interesting because we did see that JMG has reset. That original hook was just there to stop him from
We're
getting more
starting
vision.
a fight. Crescent Guard going to keep Eugene safe for a small moment, but that is a very small moment indeed. Way overextended is the Zinzao. Skedaddle is here as well, did commit the Unleashed Teleport to make this play happen, and Gentle Hearts keep their mid lane tower alive.
Yeah, but look at the side lanes during all this. Dark and Warrior able to get the tier 1 on the bot side, and Velder able to shove the wave in on the top side. And I'm sure this is something that we're going to be seeing the entire game, as we see Maker getting a kill on Takami.
Yeah, Maker.
Once again, Nautilus Caitlyn, very strong combo. But as I was saying, that's going to be something we're going to be seeing the entire game. Dark and Warrior, no one's really going to be able to match him once he picks up 2 or 3 items. And he's very close to his second item. Should be on a reset soon enough to pick it up, or at least be near finishing it. And once that happens, they don't need to do any proactive play. They just need to be there enough to start pressuring a lane, while Dark and Warrior will be able to just consistently apply winning pressure on the side.
And they're able to chunk the tier 2 down to half HP as well. Dark and Warrior playing very aggressive. Is good. Flash away from the Saddle Surge does Maker. It's going to hit Darken, so the fight's going to start up, and it looks like JMG will be the sacrificial lamb for the overextension from the Star Nation players. Eugene is going to retreat. We'll see how Gentle Hearts can convert this pick. Darken does have to reset, but does have Unleashed Teleport to join this defense of the mid-tier 1 if he would like to do so. There are flank wards available for Star Nation, and Darken is going to use it. Look at the top right of your screen. In will come the Fiora from the flank. Eugene is trying to tank up for the moment. Maker down to half HP, but this is 4 people strong right now for Gentle Hearts, and Cammy is the target in the back line, able to get away from the Fiora. The ace in the hole won't deal enough damage, and now Darken wants to try and get some of these kills here for Star Nation, but they've overextended. In goes Valder with the pull from the Swain, and Gentle Hearts are here for the punish. Heartbreaker from Corndog will finish off the kill, and that will be the 4th of the fight. Able to escape, they knock down the tier 1. The Ignite will not finish off the kill. JMG is last one standing, and we talked about the power of Gentle Hearts team fighting, but we just saw it on display right there.
100%. We were talking about the side lane pressure that comes out from Star Nation, but in a 5v5, you have a Swain. You have the AoE coming from the Vex. You have Skarner able to impale multiple members consistently. And then you have Jin able to finish off everyone. Gentle Hearts Gaming has a much stronger teamfight composition. And they pressed the trigger immediately. To start off that fight, we saw Teals throw his ultimate down. Ended up hitting Dark and Warrior. There was no hesitation. And that's exactly how Gentle Hearts Gaming needs to play this game if they expect to win. And against a split pushing composition, you have to force them to group up. You have to force them to react to what you're doing. Don't give them that slow but sure pressure. And Gentle Hearts Gaming played that pretty perfectly.
They absolutely did. I love the points you made about forcing, because that's exactly how you beat a team who wants to side lane. You want to take our tier 2, okay, we're going to push your inhibitor tower. You want to take our inhibitor, we are going to push your Nexus. We are going to take a Baron. That is exactly how Gentle Hearts needs to play, and they need to continue to play that way if they want to further their advantage to a point where they can start to think about winning this game number 1. Now let's think about what the next steps are for them. They are in a defined lead now. It's small, 1k gold, but in terms of map state, they're maintaining control. They need to try and knock down the tier 1 in the top side, look to get the standing gold on the map, which are these tier 2s, and see if they can force fights around these neutral objectives, fights like they found in that last mid lane play, to continue to find the success like they just did.
Yes, and we saw them go up into the enemy topside jungle, get some vision there. But I don't know if that was really the play for them, because they're not really able... Oh, as we do see a fight starting.
In trouble, Heartbreaker used to escape. That looks like that's just going to be that sequence there. They did force the TP off of Teals, though. And right now, with Star Nation with control over the Drake Pit, but it looks like Gentle Hearts is going to try and make their way into the river. Backed up in this brush is Star Nation. Now Eugene has to use the Crescent Guard to keep himself alive. He did run into a little bit of CC from Gentle Hearts. Now JMG trying to keep everyone at bay. The Miasma goes down and Teals is locked up in the middle of it. It's a 1-for-1 for the moment. Here comes the curtain call, and the Jin will try and deal the damage from range. And Corn Dog with the Heartbreaker will finish off the kill into the AD carry, turn into the Caitlyn and get a second kill. Next on the menu is JMG. Heartbreaker forward. Spectral Maw will root him up, and the fourth shot will seal the deal. And it's another team fight win for Gentle Hearts. 4-for-1, 4-for-2.
That's a support Swain, by the way. Able to take so much pressure from Star Nation. Just sits there, tanking the damage, dealing the damage with his ultimate. AoE slow. Very lucky that he was able to get his ultimate out just before JMG's hook landed. Otherwise, I don't think he would have been able to survive just as long as he did. And once again, Gentle Hearts Gaming proving teamfights are their forte. They will win teamfights if you try to force one. And that gives them the second dragon. Small gold lead, nothing to write home about yet, but they are able to keep control of the game. The tier 2 in the bot side is gone now. Baron is up, so I expect Darken Warrior. Gonna group up with his team for now, but I expect he will go over to the bot lane, try and get pressure going there soon.
Yeah,
And
sir. Hold on a second. Teals has been found by Darken and is winning this 1v1 very handily. The Grand Challenge will deal so much damage, and that is a massive pick for Star Nation. Do they feel it's enough for them to start the Baron? Yes, they do. So Gentle Hearts, what will be the response to this play? The Baron is going down, and Star Nation want to take this objective and try and remedy the mistakes of the previous plays and pull the trigger right now to bring this game right back. Double teleports are going to come in. The Caitlyn traps are going to make it really hard for Gentle Hearts to enter this fight. There's the Demonic Ascension. A 3-person impale is huge, but there's simply no damage follow-up. There is no Vex. That's a massive petrifying gaze onto 4, and Star Nation are bringing it right back from the brink off the pick from Darken. Cammy's able to finally trade one back, but this will most definitely be, unless some heroic curtain call action happens here from Cammy, but he's used it early, this will definitely be the Baron for Star Nation.
yeah, and they played that perfectly because while Gentle Hearts Gaming does win in teamfights, their cooldowns are long, and they need the Vex there, they need the Impale to be ready. Those tools, because especially Teals was dead, were not there. Teals is necessary for these team fights, getting that AoE damage, getting them low so that Corn Dog is able to get resets. And while Tactics is able to stand at the front, dealing a lot of damage, and Kami in his own right deals a ton of damage, it does not come in the form of that short, quick AoE burst, which is what they needed to win that fight. As Star Nation, very smart play to force that objective, and they get a lot for it. The gold lead swings right back in their direction, as looks like both sides are going to be grouping up in the bot side jungle.
It looks like Gentle Hearts was really trying to force a play here. Getting vision down in the enemy jungle. Star Nation will be forced back for the moment. They're going to clear away some vision of their own as Skedaddle pushes in the mid lane. And yeah, a massive gold swing, like you said, Toki, for Star Nation. About 4,000 in their favor after that ace, or that team fight win, rather, plus the Baron. So a lot of Gentle Heart's strength has been mitigated for the moment. It is still anybody's game, though. And both of these teams need to make winning plays like they have made this game a few more times to close out this game. We're in for potentially some more really close fights coming up. It's pressure in the mid lane right now, though, for Star Nation. They have the Baron. They're going to use it to grab that tier 2. And where will they take their pressure next? Will they join Darken in the bot side? Will they switch over to the top side? The wave is a bit far. It looks like they're going to just take a chill pill for the moment, but Darken Warrior may have been found out here. Skedaddle lands the rock, dodge away from the Deadly Flourish. Nicely done from Darken, and uses the mobility of Fiora to escape.
Yeah, the Cloud Rift really coming in clutch for Darken Warrior. They're able to just get enough move speed to avoid Tactics, for want of a better word, hook. And yeah, as you said, they don't have the waves anywhere, but they are able to use their Baron and their mid-prio to start setting up vision over on the top side. They're going to look to steal away this red buff and then start pressuring that tier 2. And tier 2s are worth a lot of money, so this is just going to continue getting their gold lead even higher. We do see that both Maker and Kami on 2.5 items. As they're going to go on, they're going to be able to deal ridiculous amounts of damage. I'm not sure how it is since the nerfs, but Caitlyn and Jin on their headshot and fourth shot respectively were able to one hit. As we see a fight in the
In the
mid.
mid lane, Darkin's going to be picked off, so now Star Nation in a bit of a tricky situation. They did grab the tier 2, but now they have to try and retreat because 5 versus 4, Gentle Hearts know they have the numbers advantage, and they are going to try and abuse that. They do get the second kill here onto Eugene. The fourth shot from the curtain call will be massive. Tactics finds the root, and in comes Skedaddle through the front line to try and tank up for the squad. The Impale will land onto JMG, but Skedaddle's going to die. The damage from Maker is insane. Able to chunk Tactics down to half HP. Let's see what the Caitlyn and the Cassiopeia can do. Can they kite away from the onslaught that is Gentle Hearts? It looks like that's going to be the case. They're going to take shelter underneath this tier 1 in the top side, and Star Nation avoid what could have been a very bloody exchange after the pick in mid from Gentle Hearts.
Yeah, it's a 3-4-1 play when everything's said and done in the favor of the Gentle Hearts. But unfortunately for them, that all happened at the top side of the map, so they have to reset. But the objective that's spawning right now is Dragon. Both teams are currently racing to get down there. Velder even uses his TP in order to get there as fast as he possibly can. They're starting to set up. Teals was the first one there. And they're going to try and pressure out the Velder. Ultimates are starting to come up for both sides. We're still not going to have Curtain Call, and we're most importantly not going to see the Heartbreaker.
Urge, they're going to make the play here onto Balder, and it looks like it's going to be successful, and Teals will grab that one. So a quick heads-up play here for Gentle Hearts will earn them numbers advantage for what could be their sole point. Second Shadow Surge will be used, and it's going to be Star Nation to concede this completely and look to get mid-push to try and crack the base of Gentle Hearts, but I don't think they're going to be successful, and now the flank play here for Gentle Hearts could be in effect. 5 versus 4 on the map for the moment. The recall is being channeled by Maker, who's not going to be able to complete it successfully. Going to be found out by Tactics with the long range ability, and now they're in a tricky situation. Curtain Call is going to be used. Maker going to use the heal at full HP just for the move speed to escape this one. The traps are going to be used to buy time, but into the fight goes Skedaddle. It's a huge impale, but once again, there's no follow-up just yet. The rest of Gentle Hearts have to join this play. Into the choke point they go. That's one kill found for Maker, but it's immediately traded back. Tactics with the demonic ascension is massive. Skedaddle will bring more people to the front line, and that will be the ace, or at least 4 kills for Gentle Hearts after the pick and the dragon. They make more magic happen for them.
Yeah, once again, Gentle Hearts Gaming showing they have teamfight supremacy. Dark and Warrior was in that fight, but wasn't able to accomplish anything. Skedaddle, once again with a 3-man impale. And while the DPS wasn't high to start the fight, Teals was there this time, so they were able to get that first reset for Corndog. And with that, they were just able to clean up the fight. A huge shame that they're not able to get any objectives off of it. All they're really going to get is that extra gold going into their pockets. As we do see 3 items now complete onto Kami. Teal's very close to that death cap. And once that comes out, these teamfights are only going to get better for them.
They're going to be, it's going to be a huge power spike for Teals. Skedaddle's found Darkened Warrior. This is a lot of damage that Fiora is going to deal, trying to buy time for Teals to join this play, but the Fiora does massive damage, but now the Fear comes through, but the parry will dodge away from most of it. Darkin will commit the flash and find the first solo kill, and probably will be able to find a second if he uses his spells wisely. He is going to get feared away, but can pursue this further. Teals, no flash to get away from the Fiora, dodging away from the spells. The Swain ability will be used to slow him down, but an excellent play from Darkin survives, and now Star Nation is making their way to the Baron. It will be 4v4 for the moment. Darkin does have TP, although he is half HP for the moment. He might join this play half HP if he has to. Down to 3k HP goes the Baron. Corndog has to get in here to look for the steal. He's not going to find it. Eugene's going to win this fight. Corndog flashes out. The depth charge will knock him up, and the curtain call will only do minimal damage. Here comes the ace in the hole, and Maker will be able to find the kill from long range. Now the pursuit is in for Star Nation, and Gentle Hearts are on the retreat. All the meanwhile, Darkin is pushing up in the mid lane. They could look to end on these numbers, Toki. They could look to finish it right here, right now. We'll see how well Gentle Hearts can defend their base, and if Star Nation are looking to put the nail in the coffin. Now 5 versus 4, likely going to back off after they take this inhibitor. The hook will go wide for JMG, and Star Nation will retreat.
Yeah, once again, they find a pick on the side, and they instantly use that pressure to try and get some objectives. Dark and Warrior really carrying the team right now with his side lane pressure. And don't get me wrong, they're all playing super well around it. The pacing that Star Nation is currently bringing out is insane. They're not wasting any time at all to capitalize, that's the word, on all of these plays. It's really entertaining to watch, and it gets them that mid inhibitor. So now, like I said before, Gentle Hearts Gaming, they want to group up, they want to fight. But now, Star Nation, all they need to do is they just slowly hang out near their mid wave, and it's going to give pressure. Darkened Warrior, as we saw, now has the items, is now able to 1v1 skedaddle fairly easily, is gonna be able to get even more pressure over on the side lane. I think right now, Gentle Hearts Gaming, like they seem to be setting up right now, they need to look for these picks. If they're not able to either catch out the solo laner or force the fight in mid lane, there's really not much that they can do.
Yeah, there isn't anything they can do. The split pressure from Star Nation will be overwhelming as long as Darkin can play his life and absorb the pressure, which he's done so well. Used the parry to absorb the Spectral Moss, so there was no engage opportunity for Gentle Hearts, but now he's actually going in 1 versus 3. This is very ambitious from Darkin, able to dodge the Shadow Surge. Can he dodge all 4 curtain shots? No, he will not, so he will fall, but that will earn an inhibitor now for Star Nation. The question is, does Gentle Hearts keep going? Do they look to catch them out here 5 versus 4? It doesn't look like they can because Star Nation is way ahead of them and is going to leave. So I think, Toki, that is a worthy trade for the Star Nation squad, which is inhib for Darkin. Now, we will wait because they're waiting in this brush, but no one's going to face check for the moment.
Yeah, and to continue on what you were saying, that was very worth it. Oh, never mind.
Oh,
We got a fight.
Skedaddle going to be caught out here. They used the lack of vision. It's a massive impale, but once again, story of this game, sometimes you find the big ult, but there's simply no follow-up. And this will be now a 4 versus 4. Darkin is up in 10 seconds. Can Gentle Hearts find their fight? Crescent Guard has to be used from Eugene to keep himself alive. Was rooted up by the Deadly Flourish. Cammy is positioning very aggressively, does have both summoners. This will be sold for Gentle Hearts if they get it, but they don't want to risk it. They don't have to. It's only 1 Drake for Star Nation. They're going to give it up and fix their wings.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out with Darkened Warrior death on the top side, while yes, he did die, not only were they able to get the bot tier 3, the bot inhibitor, but they had to use the Swain ultimate, they had to use the Curtain Call, they had to use whatever Vex's ultimate is called. They had to use all 3 of those abilities, and Dragon was spawning 20 seconds later. So even if they didn't set up that trap, even though it was 4v5, I would still favor that fight going over to Star Nation. The amount of pressure Darkened Warrior is bringing out is insane. Just absolutely making sure that his team has the easiest possible setup for all these objectives. And they are not wasting any of the pressure he's giving them.
No, they are not. It's definitely, so far, the MVP of this game for Star Nation. Darkin is putting on a top lane macro masterclass for the moment. Now, this game is not over. Gentle Hearts still have opportunities to win this one, but they have to find those opportunities when they're presented to them, and they cannot hesitate to take them. The question is, will Star Nation give them that opportunity? Right now, they have 2 people in the bot side holding Darkin. That is Teals and Tactics. 3 people will have to defend. Now 4 people are defending that top lane inhibitor tower. Slowly, Star Nation are pushing this one out. There's no Baron on the map for them to take just yet. They do need to be careful because an engage could come through from Gentle Hearts at any moment. They're just playing it slow. They're ushering in the mid supers. They're ushering in the top lane supers. And Darkin giving so much pressure here. They're going to look to try and get the inhib. Can't quite grab it. It looks like a reset's coming through for Star Nation.
Yeah, unfortunately not able to sync up those waves together. While Darken was able to get all that pressure setting up, it did not come at the same time as the top wave comes in. And because of that, they were able to just shove it out. They were able to honestly get a lot of XP and gold just last hitting all of those supers coming in that were pushed in by Darken. But in the end, it still gives them a lot of pressure. They still have vision advantage in the top side with Baron spawning in 30 seconds. So while they weren't able to get anything directly out of the play, they're still able to get the advantages they need. Though we do see that the mid inhib has now respawned. So now it's only going to be pressure from the bot wave. But to be honest, when you're a Fiora, when you have 4.5 items, you're not too concerned about that. If there's no tower, that's a free inhib as far as you're concerned.
It absolutely is. It's a free inhib unless they bring literally 3 people to stop you. Darkin posturing so aggressively, has flash in case he missteps. And it's always important when you are a player that's so strong on your team, whether you're the carry, you're the top laner, and you have your summoners available, you play as aggressively as Darkin is because you have the tools to escape when you have to. And look at what that's earned for Star Nation. It's gotten them the Baron. Gentle Hearts were so preoccupied with preventing Darkin from grabbing the mid inhib that Star Nation had no pressure applied to them when they were taking this objective, and now is their time to try and end this game, and they might try and do it right now. Look at Skedaddle on the minimap. He is looking for a flank play. Corndog will be hit by Eugene. There's the Shadow Surge that's going to be used, but it is going to be dodged away from. Maker flashes away from the Impale. It's a massive petrifying gaze. I think that landed onto all 5. Balder, what have you done? You have completely evaporated Gentle Hearts, and now Darkin puts in the damage. Got the triple kill. Maker will get the 4th. Corndog's the last to live, and he will watch his Nexus explode as Star Nation picks up the win in game number 1.
Yeah, it's Star Nation. They knew their plan going in, and they executed it perfectly. They had a few little hiccups going on in towards the mid game. They gave Gentle Hearts Gaming a few too many team fights, but in the end, they were able to play out that split push comp, and Dark and Warrior played it perfectly. And even at that end, just playing on the edge, the absolute edge of their engage range, just enough to pull them over towards the mid lane while their Baron was being taken. And with that, they were able to get the final hit onto the Nexus, and that final team fight was just perfect for them. They finally got the fight that they wanted.
They did, and I think the adaptation from Star Nation in that game was great. They really struggled in those 2 mid-game fights, and they had to think to themselves, okay, this isn't working. They're forcing us to fight them. We need to find another way to pull out the win here. And so they defaulted to the side lane. Darkin found a pick onto Teals, and they converted that into a Baron that swung the gold lead. And then they just kept rinse and repeating carefully, not throwing the game at all, not giving Gentle Hearts a chance to find an opportunity that they wanted. And like you said, Toki, able to strangle them out of resources and eventually win the game for game number 1. So as we wait for game number 2 to begin, we will head to a quick break, but we will come back for game number 2. We'll see if Gentle Hearts can force a game 3 or if Star Nation will close it out. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are into the draft for game number 2. This is Star Nation Esports. versus Gentle Hearts Gaming, the first game of the Vanquisher League for both of these teams sitting at a 0-0 record, and Star Nation able to get the first win of this best of 3. And now it is backs against the wall for Gentle Hearts. It's up to them to see if they can force a game 3 here and continue to look for that first win in this first match. So Toki, let's talk about the last game. You had team fighting prowess for Gentle Hearts, but they lost from the excellent macro game that Star Nation played. So what do you think changes here for Gentle Hearts? We can already see a Fiora ban taken away from Darkin. Is there anything else in circulating your mind that Gentle Hearts can do to find more success in game 2?
So honestly, there's a couple of specifics that I'd want to see different from Gentle Hearts Gaming. One thing I didn't talk about in the game at all, but upon reflecting, I think that Xin Zhao was a very strong pick for Star Nation because the way Gentle Hearts Gaming wanted to play is long range poke from Vex, long range poke from Jin, and getting that extra hook coming in from the Swain. Swain and Skarner were the other ones that were really able to get like right into the fight. And because everything is single target for the most part, Xin Zhao was able to take so many abilities without taking any damage. So if they're able to remove that, that'll help a lot. The second thing I want to see from Gentle Hearts Gaming is stronger engage. If you're going to be playing a death ball composition, especially into a split push or poke composition, which is what Star Nation had, the split push, you need to be able to force fights on a dime. Their engage was a little bit difficult to pull off. For the most part, you had to rely on Teals landing that ultimate on Vex in order to start the fights, or Skedaddle getting a very strong engage on that Skarner, which we do see him picking up, again, at the very least, hovering it. And with that change with Ashe, I think it will help because that is a form of engage. So if they're trying to build another Death Ball composition going forward with this game, they have proven 5v5, they are very strong. They're able to coordinate plays, I think, a little bit better than Star Nation when it comes to managing aggro, managing relative positioning to each other. So it'd be very interesting to see them pull that off. In the meanwhile, Star Nation does take that Caitlyn Darius. Sorry for interrupting you there.
No worries. Continue. Yeah. That's exactly what I would say. Their engage was a little bit unreliable, and the Ashe brings more reliability. In a sense, right? You miss the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, your engage goes out the window. But at the very least, more engage and initiation options in the Ashe than the Jhin, and also a pick that can find success against the Caitlyn, which Star Nation are running back to here on the blue 1 pick. Now, the Fiora ban came through, and that gave them massive problems. It gave Gentle Hearts massive problems, that is, in the Skarner matchup in the top side. So it's still a flex pick. They still could put it jungle if they wanted to, but if it's going into the top side this time around, they feel that if the Fiora is taken away, they can still find great success with that Skarner. There were a lot of multi-person impales that they landed in that game. So maybe this time around, now going up against a Darius, it's a different kind of matchup. We'll see if they can find more success. Darius is more oriented to team fights rather than side lane dominance like the Fiora. So this kind of forces Star Nation to adapt a little bit, and a lot of their side lane tools in their champion pool has been taken away. And the Jarvan will be picked up now for Star Nation, and the response on R3 here for Gentle Hearts is going to be the Kindred this time in the jungle.
Yeah, and it definitely does seem that Star Nation's looking more towards team fighting. Jarvan very good at starting fights, getting good engages. Darius, one of those pseudo reset champions. He will be strong in the side lane as well, but he's definitely no Fiora. Skarner, even if he's not able to shove him out, will definitely be able to keep the waves, keep a little bit of prio going, and he can just safely clear and then head out. As we do see a lot of support bans coming in from both sides. We had the Thresh banned in phase 1, but now we see the Nautilus, Leona, and the Braum, all 3 banned out. And one other thing I wanted to touch upon is the Kindred pick. Because Darius is a reset champion, and Jarvan does kind of want to just jump in the middle of everyone, Kindred will be able to break up their combo. Darius is going to have to be a lot more attentive on when he uses ultimates in fights. He has to make sure that Kindred's not in the area to save them, or that she is stunned and cannot use her abilities. As you do see a lot of mid laners being hovered
It's like a
over.
mid laner roulette right there. Holy moly. Okay, Ari is going to be the one that was chosen. They were flipping through, it looked like 10 different champions while that timer was down to 0. So that's going to be the pick here for Gentle Hearts. I like what you mentioned, Toki. Kindred has the ability to space these champions, and also with Darius on the resets, Lamb's Respite can prevent the Noxian Guillotine from going through and giving Darius that win con in these team fights. It looks like, just like you mentioned, Star Nation now is adapting to a team that doesn't have as much side lane prowess, and they're going to try and adopt rather the team fighting style. They have Talia here, which I like. Probably obviously going to go into the mid lane because we do see the Jarvan that's already been picked up that Eugene will pilot. But Talia does very nicely into champions like Kindred and Ari who have dashes that can be interrupted by the Unraveled Earth. And that can be problematic here for Gentle Hearts. So I do like this choice that they've gone for themselves. And interestingly, R5 for Star Nation is that Blitzcrank, something that can be very annoying for an Ashe to deal with, who wants to get pressure in bot side, wants to push you under your tower, harass you as much as possible with her range. When you're playing against the Blitzcrank, you have to always have the rocket grab in the back of your mind, and it's very annoying to play with. So let's see here, Toki, what will be the response into this blitz on
Maokai.
B5?
Yeah, and Maokai is a very good response. And like I was saying at the start, and I noticed even continuing on through this draft, Gentle Hearts Gaming still did not have a lot of engage. They did not have good ways to start the fight. And I was a little bit concerned with the Nautilus and Leona band, but Maokai is definitely someone that is able to bring that in. He can tank the Blitzcrank hooks, and he's able to get out fairly easily. But it does look like there's going to be two team fighting compositions here. Blitzcrank obviously can land a hook, but I think both of these teams want to fight.
They absolutely do. And not only does Maokai provide Gentle Hearts with engage, but also can be just as effective as a disengage tool as well. The Nature's Grasp and the ultimate there from Maokai can be great disengage tools for them. And Jarvan, who wants to jump in, Weaver's Wall from Talia. Gentle Hearts can use that to their advantage. They can peel back with Ashe, who can kite very nicely with her passive slow and her extra range. Kindred as well with the range. So I think there's a lot of flexibility in this Gentle Hearts composition that they've drafted. They have strong team fight. They have different carries they can play through. Ashe isn't your traditional hyper carry per se, and they'll probably playing more for this Kindred and using the Ashe as utility, but at the very least they have those options available to them. And I think we talked about you need more engage, you need more reliability. I think Gentle Hearts have improved that composition to check off those boxes, and they've also taken Star Nation off of a composition that worked so well from them in the first game, and also Gentle Hearts struggled to play against. So I do think that in game number 2, at least from a draft standpoint, we'll have to see how it pans out in the game, but I think this one is going to look on paper much better for them, Toki.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with everything you said, but I do want to point out a potential very, very serious combo that Star Nation could pull off this game. We're talking Blitzcrank hook into Darius hook into Talia, knocking them further back. I want to see just how far back they could move someone from the Gentle Hearts Gaming.
Could be that conga line of CC. And there's a
Yep.
lot of pick opportunity too for Star Nation with you bringing that up with the rocket grab and the seismic shove. Darius pull as well. You can pull people over walls with both of those abilities. There is a pick variation to this Star Nation team, and maybe something that they want to utilize to get themselves numbers advantages before they fight. Gentle Hearts fights really well, so if you force them to fight 4 versus 5, they lose their Kindred, they lose their Ashe. Depending on how well Corndog is able to use the Lamb's Respite, can avoid some of that pick potential, but this is another sort of wrinkle here to talk about in this game is that pick potential there. Like you mentioned, how far can they pull somebody? They have lots of tools to find those picks. The question is, can they utilize it to get numbers advantages in the game?
Yeah, and we're gonna have to see how exactly this draft does end up playing out. I'm very excited to see this because we saw last game both teams are very willing to throw it down. And I think a lot of the characters, a little bit more towards the side of Gentle Hearts Gaming, have a lot of skill expression that we will be able to see. I'm ready to see those very flashy plays coming out of the next game.
Yeah, exactly. The Ari with the you can use your ult, you can charm, kindred, how well you can space, how well you can time your ultimate. Can they follow up on the impales? And we're gonna find out how that works in the next game when it does actually get underway. We are in the spectator break, and we will head to a break of our own while we wait for that timer to run out. And when we come back, we will be right into game, and we will see if Gentle Hearts can force a game number 3 or if Star Nation will close it out here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game 2 very soon. Welcome back, everyone, to Game 2 between Gentle Hearts and Star Nation Esports. If you're just joining us on the caster desk today, it is myself, Ferris, and TokiV. I am Ferris, in case it's not a TriCast, but it's Ferris and TokiV on the caster desk. Star Nation leads the series 1-0. They're looking to close this one out here, and Gentle Hearts are hoping to force game number 3. We do have a same style play that Gentle Hearts are looking for, like they did in game number 1, but this time Star Nation are not going to join them in the bot side. They have instead infiltrated the jungle of the Gentle Hearts. And now we have, it's dark in this time with the DC, and we're into a pause, but look at the mini map. They are going further into the bot jungle of Star Nation. Togi, we may be seeing someone being caught out. It could be Maker, it could be JMG from the looks of it.
I think they're going to be fine. All of Gentle Hearts Gaming is currently on a ward.
Fair enough.
So Star Nation does have full information of this going down right now. Probably going to try to... Oh, wasn't able to get the range. But that also helps reveal that there was a ward there. So, they are walking into the bot side. Looks like it's going to be the same as last time, just a trade of red buffs. Skedaddle hopefully does not go to check the buff. I think he could run in if he decides to try and slow them down, as we see the pause buffer coming in. Just a little spectate bug. But no, he knows that they're on the red buff, and he's just walking straight to lane. Definitely the much safer approach to this.
Yeah,
JMG,
I'm not going to walk into that. JMG, I don't know what JMG's trying to do. Nope, gonna hook Tactics instead. That's not what he was hoping for. Corndog able to smite away that red, and will continue this similar start, like you said, Toki, to game number 1. Although this time around, it's Eugene starting on the opposite side of the map, or on the other side into the enemy jungle, and forcing the flash off of Teals right away is already a bad sign in the mid lane for Gentle Hearts. Although last time it turned into a solo kill for Teals, so maybe it's a good omen. Who knows?
Yeah, very unfortunate. Teals tries to walk in instead of just electing to throw his ward over the wall. But that being said, it does get Eugene out of the jungle. He only takes the red buff, while we see Corndog, he's able to take the entire bot side away from Eugene. Corndog is on a ward, but I don't think right now that really matters. They know he's in the bot side. They know he's going to be clearing out his whole bot area, and he still has another 2 camps to go after that. So I think all said and done, as long as they're not able to punish Teals before level 6, I don't think that flash is going to matter too much.
No, definitely not. And because Eugene wasn't able to clear the Raptors and the Krugs on the top side of the map from Gentle Hearts, if a full clear comes through for Corndog, where he's already cleared the bot side on Star Nation side, and Eugene's actually going to try and prevent what I was about to say from happening. He doesn't want Kindred to clear his whole blue side, then grab this Raptor camp and that Krugs, because then he's going to have a significant clear advantage, or a camp advantage at least. So gonna take away the Raptors. Corndog is moving to try and get at least some of these. Gonna grab 2 little chickens for himself, skipped away on the Gromp camp, and now likely going to head up to the Krugs, or contest the Scuttle Crab. But Eugene's already on it. Doesn't have Smite, but that first Scuttle Crab is quite squishy, so it'll probably be a trade for Crabs. Corndog not going to opt in to going for the Krugs, and will path down to bot to try and trade those 2 neutral objectives in the river. It's funny to call a Scuttle Crab a neutral objective, but yeah, they could actually fight for it here coming up as Eugene's moving down.
Yeah, they do have mid power coming in from Vailder. And either way, Corndog unfortunately did lose the 50-50. The mark was spawned onto that top crab, so not able to get himself a mark. As we do see, both junglers are starting to group towards the bottom, but Corndog is level 4.
They're going to go for it here. 3v3. Eugene's just going to try and focus onto Cammy, who does have Flash and Barrier still available. I think this is going to be good for Gentle Hearts. In goes Eugene. Tactics very close to falling, but is going to flash away in the nick of time. Cammy going to try and put enough DPS to finish off Maker, and is going to be able to do so. That's first blood going the way of Gentle Hearts. Corndog had the level advantage over Eugene, so they had a slight power advantage here, and now they can shove out this wave and look to get a reset. And that mark has spawned in the bot side for Corndog as well. So this is a great play off the start for Gentle Hearts, although Eugene playing very aggressive for being so low HP. They're going to try and salvage a little bit of this wave for Maker, who's walking back, but overall, Gentle Hearts, excellent counter game.
Yeah, very well timed and very well played by Kami and Tactics. Tactics made sure to tank that hook for Kami, and because of that, Kami gets first blood. He's able to hold on to his flash, and first blood going over to Kami is going to be really big. And Ash is able to do a ton of damage with an early lead. With the tier 2 boots, should be able to run down Maker. If the hook is ever down, he will be able to punish Maker very hard.
And you'll also be able to punish JMG as well. The thing about Blitzcrank is he's very, I always like to say this, Blitzcrank is very hit or miss, literally. If he misses the hook and doesn't have flash, like you said, tier 2 boots gives you movement speed, gives you attack speed. You're also slowing your opponent as well. And if you have approach velocity in your runes, you get that extra movement speed on top of it. You can run people down all day long, and that is the whole idea with Ashe. So the boots rush makes a lot of sense for Cammy, and we'll see if they can get any more advantages now with this early lead in the bot side. Also, the barrier take is interesting. A lot of Ashe players like to take Ghost, but when you're playing in a lane that you think is going to go down to 2v2s, 3v3s often, then you can get a lot of value from barrier to give you that extra bit of HP to survive and find advantages in those skirmishes. So an interesting choice for Cammy as well in the summoner spells, as now Eugene could be potentially looking for a dive onto Skedaddle, although this one would definitely be tough to pull off.
Yeah, but I'm noticing the wave state is not very good for Skedaddle. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a 20 CS difference between Skedaddle and Dark and Warrior. As they do start to trade.
Ooh,
Flash coming out
going to
from
be
Dark
flashed
Warrior.
away from. There's the Noxie and Guillotine, but it won't have enough damage to finish off the Skarner. Now, Eugene is clearing away the grubs, has secured one for himself. Corndog is on the opposite side of the map. Darkin is playing very aggressive. He knows Valder and Eugene are here. Looks like he's actually just going to hop into the brush and take a reset. Very soon, Gentle Hearts will know that Eugene is here on the top side, and they will probably opt in to go for the Drake. They're doing that right now, so it's going to be the same type of trade we saw last game, although this time around it's Gentle Hearts with the Drake and Star Nation with the Grubs.
Yeah, a little bit of a delayed trade coming over for Corndog, and that's what lets Eugene go and invade his red buff. The Corndog seemed to be expecting a gank going over towards bot side, and wasted a decent amount of time in the bush trying to protect them. And because of that, they are very behind on the tempo here. They will still secure the dragon, but they're gonna lose the red buff in return. And just a lot of time wasted by Corndog, unfortunately. Gonna be taking his reset now.
And doesn't have much of a CS lead either. Has 4 stocked up, but with this Scuttle Crab take, that will be evened out. And so Jarvan keeping up with Kindred, and maybe Corndog will be able to pull ahead sooner as the game goes on, as Jarvan will look for more gank opportunities, and the Kindred is happy to farm it out as this carry champion. But for the moment, Eugene on the J4 is doing an excellent job of staying on pace with the Kindred. Now Dark and Warrior is shoving through this wave. Eugene is waiting. I think this is more of a counter gank situation. It's going to be tough to dive Skedaddle unless he takes an unfavorable trade before this wave crashes. But I think Eugene is more just playing protection here in case Corndog comes up to the top lane to try and gank Darkin, who is well overextended. So Eugene investing a lot of time to keep his top laner safe right now, and could potentially look for a gank here. Could EQ over the wall, drop the Cataclysm, and trap Skedaddle in. Being very patiently, and JMG as well. Look at the minimap, has made his way up from the top, from the bot lane as well. They're going to go for it. There's going to be the Cataclysm. It's going to stop Skedaddle from getting out of there, and has to burn the flash, and now should be able to deny this CS underneath the tower.
Honestly, I don't think it's worth it. Eugene has all 6 of his camps up the entire time. JMG walks up, all to burn Skedaddle Flash and give Darkened Warrior a slightly higher CS lead. But he was able to get that naturally on his own anyway. I don't think he really needed the extra help.
Oh, Skedaddle, wait a second. Darkin is taken so... What in the world? So many tower shots were taken here. The response in the bot side, Maker will drop a successful dive from Gentle Hearts. Actually, it's not even a response play. That's a benefit from both plays to Gentle Hearts. They do end up losing tactics, but the ADC dies and they do get Baldur's TP. Really insane stuff here from Gentle Hearts as they pull ahead in the early going.
You know what that was, top lane? Remember last game, as we do see a little bit of poke coming down and forth, there is no kill pressure here. We saw that Darkened Warrior Go.
Oh,
Oh, as you see the hook
Teals
coming in.
has been hooked. Charm lands. Right now it's Corndog just taking away the red. And now take a look. Valder is here. Does drop the Weaver's Wall to try and stop them from escaping. But there's the Blast Cone. Oh, JMG used the flash to try and get the knockup before they could hit the Blast Cone, but didn't quite close the gap in time. And Corndog successfully heists away that red buff and they get out unscathed.
Yeah, sorry, but I do still want to go back to that top lane. Interesting tower hits. We did see the Darken Warrior last game got killed by the tower, got executed, and that's probably how he shoved in the wave and decided that it'd be faster to get killed by the tower and then use that bonus move speed to get back into lane. But Skedaddle had that done to him last game, and you're not going to fool him twice.
And now Darkin could be in trouble once again. Doesn't have flash, but could potentially outplay this if he plays it right. And Gentle Heart's playing quite cautiously. Teals using the second charge of the Spirit Rush forward, but now going to head back to the mid lane. The Scuttle Crab will be taken on the bot side. Corndog waiting, protecting his bot lane from a potential dive. Here comes Eugene and Valder. Tactics is low, Cammy's half HP, but now they've spotted Corndog. They know this will be a 4 versus 3 if they follow through with this play. What will Star Nation do? That control ward is mitigating the vision. They are waiting in this brush, waiting to see what Eugene will do. They might pull the trigger onto him, but he's going to go in with the EQ. The Lamb's Respite. Oh my goodness, Tactics is going to survive for the moment, but the Rocket Grab will pull him right out of the safety. And that will be the first kill of the play for Star Nation. Now Eugene going to drop to Corndog, who gets that kill. Maker is in no man's land, can't quite finish off the kill on Cammy, and that's 2 kills to the Kindred. Cammy's up 2 levels. Teal's now going to be able to cut off JMG's escape, is going to dodge away from 2 abilities, going to hook him right back in. Hold on a second. Outplay potentially here for JMG, not quite. And Teals unable to grab that kill, but still Gentle Hearts, they are reading Star Nation right now really well.
Slight mechanical error at the end for JMG. He gave him just that little bit of time to take the step backwards, which got him out of tower range before he was able to knock him up with the Blitzcrank E. As we do see another pause coming in. Eugene once again leaves. But let's dissect that play a little bit. It seemed that Gentle Hearts Gaming were waiting for the dive to start coming through, but they decided not to wait. They grouped up together. They waited for Eugene to jump in because he got baited pretty hard by the low HP Tactics. But the Lamb's Respite coming in immediately to save him. And while JMG was able to rocket grab him in the end, he rocket grabbed the person that was already at 50 HP. They were gonna get that kill regardless, but it bought them so much time. It gave Corndog the time to kill Eugene. It gave the tower enough time to kill all the minions. So Maker no longer had a way out. He was stuck there with Corndog, and he was not going to win that 1v1.
Yeah, it was an overextension overall from Star Nation. They got baited by the Kindred, and Lamb's Respite is a great tool to bait your opponents. We do have a disconnection here, Eugene taking some time to reconnect into the game, and I'm just going to take this time now to take a look at this map state. We have a Chemtech Drake in for Gentle Hearts. The next Drake will be spawning in a few moments, but there's also the grubs available as well. And remember, Star Nation were the team to get those first 3. We see Tactics right now moved up from bot lane. We see Teals and bot side, who just pushed out that wave, taking a reset. Does have teleport to join a fight if possible. And it looks like from JMG's movement trajectory in the base of Star Nation might move up to this play as well. So in the coming minutes, we could see a fight here for the grubs. For Star Nation, it's getting 6 in their back pocket, which could be massive if they play the same style of game they did last time around. And for Gentle Hearts, it's denying those 6 grub power spike and then playing towards the Drake stacking when that objective does spawn, now that the grubs and the dragon are desynced in the times that they spawn.
Yeah, and it looks like it is going to be 4v4 or potentially even 5v4 for Gentle Hearts Gaming, depending on whether or not Teals uses that teleport to get in towards the grubs. But at the same time, Darken Warrior does not have very good conditions for the fight. He's already at half HP to start. No Ghost. Ghost will be up soon, but likely will not be in time for this fight. And Darius needs Ghost to function in team fights unless the enemy misplays into him. And at the same time, we see that a lot of ultimates are down for both teams. We're not going to have the Cataclysm coming out from Eugene. Vilder's wall shouldn't be too big a deal for this fight, but the ultimates are really going to be hurting Gentle Hearts Gaming in the fight. We don't have the Lamser Spite. We don't have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. We don't have the Maokai ultimate. I had 2 out of 3 in bad. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this fight goes. I think because they have the teleport, they should be able to win out the fight anyway. But a well-placed rocket grab could turn everything on its head.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And it looked like Eugene did reconnect there, so we should be able to get back into the game momentarily and all prep around this Grubs fight. As here we go. We're into game now, and we see the setup begin. So Cammy is in the bot or in the mid lane right now. Teals, we'll see where they move. It will likely be Cammy moving back to bot to hold the push onto Maker, who's going to reset that wave state. And then we'll see how the numbers advantages work around the Grubs as we are in that sticky situation where after a pause we get those spectator bugs. So we'll be able to, there we go, get right back into it. But it's actually Corndog right now taking a reset. So we were building up this Grubs spawn, but it might actually just be the dragon that Gentle Hearts play for. Are they willing to give 6 Grubs over to Star Nation?
It seems that way. We do see a lot of pings coming out towards the dragon. We see Tactics is walking in. And we see that Star Nation does have a lot of vision set up towards the top side. But Gentle Hearts Gaming, realizing we don't really have the cooldowns for this, we can just stack dragons and hope for late game. Because, like I said earlier in the draft, Darkin Warrior is not going to really be a huge side lane threat as the game goes on. Maker will be able to hit towers very easily, but just a Caitlyn on her own, she's not going to be able to get as much value out of the Grubs unless they're already winning by a lot, in which case you also don't really need the Grubs that much. So looks like Gentle Hearts Gaming is going to be trying to go for the Soul, and it will be a Hex Tech Soul, one of the strongest ones in the entire game, as Eugene enters the jungle and steals away that red buff, where Corndog got another mark, currently sitting at 3. One more mark will get him that extra range and really start snowballing him ahead.
The Kindred is in a nice spot, has relatively decent farm. The J4 has been able to keep up, but yeah, 2 kills on the threshold there. The one more mark will give him that extra range and those extra stats. So going to be playing towards that. They do have 2 Drakes, like you mentioned. Hextech Drake is very powerful. Let's look at the minimap, though. Eugene is here for a potential gank onto Skedaddle, but it's tough. Take out this Skarner. There is a sizable CS advantage for Darkin up here, but when you're playing against a tank like the Skarner, those types of advantages won't really make a ton of difference when you're playing against a champion that isn't as resource heavy like the Skarner is. Now Eugene will start up the Rift Herald. There's no one from Gentle Hearts in the area to contest this. We did see an Enchanted Crystal Arrow used from Cammy down from mid lane to try and catch out Valder underneath that bot side tower, although it did miss and that play will fizzle out. It looks like it's just going to be the clean Rift Herald take from Star Nation, and we will be anticipating how they use this to crack open some of these towers on Gentle Heart's side, and they're going to give it over to Darkin up there.
Yeah, because they were able to get all 6 Grubs, this is going to be a very, very strong Herald play. Looks like they're going to go try and break the tier 1 tower. Should be able to just clear it up.
They're going to drop the Herald as well.
Yeah, I don't even think they needed it for this. Looks like they're going to try to force a play.
Here comes Nature's Grasp onto Eugene, and there's a lot of damage being dealt from Cammy. Tried to use the Cataclysm, but just died in the end, and here comes Skedaddle with the Impale, is going to take out Maker as well, and now the flash forward, the Bramble Smash will send Darkin Warrior back, who has to use the flash to get away, does have Ghost, so should be able to run away from this one, but too aggressive was Star Nation. They did get the tier 1 in the mid lane, but they lost 2 members there as well.
Yeah, to their credit, they were also able to get that second charge onto the tier 2, but I still don't think it's worth it. I think they're going to lose all these camps in the top side once again. Corndog able to get himself now 5 marks, so the extra range coming out from Corndog is now available.
Oh, Eugene. Flag and drag. Gonna push Corndog away. That'll be it for that play. Thought maybe a fight was going to be had. JMG looking for a rocket grab, not gonna find it, and Corndog gets a 6th mark for himself. I do believe that animation went through.
Yep.
And this is all Gentle Hearts want right now, is that Kindred to be strong. They are looking so good, miles better than they did in game number 1 at this point. Now, Corndog does have to be careful, getting very confident here. Valder is here, seismic shove. Can he find it? They're going to force him off the red buff for the moment. Tactics is here to help out his jungler. The red buff will not be taken. It's tier 1 that is the focus right now. And Cammy, once again, going to find another kill. It's going to be traded back, but no, it's not. I forgot about the Lamb's respite. My goodness, the 80 carry for Gentle Hearts is having himself a game.
Yeah, and once again, they pulled 2 people to defend their red buff, but because of that, Kami's on Ashe. He has Kraken Slayer. He has tier 2 boots. He can run down anyone, and they use that to their advantage. Normally, Lamb's Respite might not be worth saving just one member, but when it's your Ashe with a 350 gold bounty, 100% worth to use it every single time.
Yep, certainly. You want to protect those bounties. Now, when you're in a position that Gentle Hearts is in, you are stronger, you are set up to continue to dominate this game. But the one thing that you need to watch out for is giving away those bounties. So you're absolutely right, Toki. It is most definitely worth it to use a powerful cooldown like the Kindred Ultimate to protect those bounties and make sure no extra gold is being given to Star Nation. They want to try and strangle them out of their resources. Play for these Drakes. You already have 2. Play with your wave prio, take it slow, don't force anything unnecessary, and you should be able to cruise your way to a game 2 win from this point if you're able to play it right. But we'll see what Star Nation can make happen for themselves when this 3rd Drake does end up spawning.
Yeah, and it seems that right now it's a little bit of a lull state as they do fight for mid prio. JMG gonna try to push up a little bit, but it doesn't seem like they have enough push on the side lanes. We see Skedaddle tossed everything in towards the top side. Gonna give up the tower, but I think for 3rd Drake, you are more than willing to just give it over to Darken Warrior. As Gentle Hearts Gaming is able to just walk back in, grab the mid lane prio. Ooh, Kami should not have hit that, but it's okay. Because when you do hit wards, it does grant you vision, even if it's blocked.
Charm lands, Eugene buffers the flag and drag, and so won't die to the CC that the Enchanted Crystal Arrow would normally provide. But it's 3rd Drake for Gentle Hearts. They're 1 away from what could be a 22-minute Hextech Soul, which would be insanely powerful for them on top of the lead that they already have. Might be too much for Star Nation to overcome. So this will be a tense 5 minutes coming up in the time before that Drake spawns. Can Star Nation get anything back? Can they get themselves into a stronger state for what will be an inevitable fight or an unavoidable fight that they're going to have to take in 5 minutes time? Or is Gentle Hearts going to maintain the strong positioning and strong dance that they have in this game, and will they be able to secure that soul? That's the name of the game for the moment.
Yeah, and honestly, I think Star Nation's very glad that they picked Blitzcrank for JMG, because right now I think that's really their only way back. Gentle Hearts Gaming, their composition is so good right now.
Power Dive's going to come through. Skedaddle's going to flash away, but the Cataclysm is used, and he's now stuck in there, but going to just tear through the terrain and escape with ease. Now the tier 1 bot side was taken, but Skedaddle lives to see another day in the trade in mid lane here for Gentle Hearts as well, as Teals is now in trouble. Valder looking for a solo kill. The rocks won't quite land. Teals gonna commit the flash. I don't know if that was worth it, because you're certainly going to drop here. Can they get the response kill? Tactics is behind him, but JMG is here for reinforcements. Valder going to use the rock movement speed along the wall to get out, and a top lane tier 1 will be taken for Gentle Hearts. So trades back and forth from both of these teams, but as a team like Star Nation, when you're behind, you'll take this, and you might be able to get the tier 2 as well.
Yeah, they're gonna get the tier 2 mid, but that tier 2 tower was fake. It doesn't exist. It was already at around 200 HP, so they are able to get that gold injection in for themselves. But they're still able to get that tower, the tier 1 tower over on the top side. Teals does pay for his life for it, so definitely a good trade for Star Nation. But I still don't know if it's big enough to really give them that edge for the next fight. Though we do see that Vailder has now finished his 2nd item. He's going to be very strong without Leandris and Archangels. Or the Seraph's Embrace, I should say, with the upgrade. As we do see, Gentle Hearts Gaming just started the Baron buff. I don't know if they have vision.
They feel they're strong enough to start this off. Does Star Nation know? Well, Eugene's going to spot this out. Baron down to 4K. They're going to start it off onto Eugene, who's going to be forced to flash away. There's a rocket grab onto Skedaddle, who's getting very low. Ace in the hole will be able to finish off the kill, but that's 2 kills going the way of Gentle Hearts. And now the Enchanted Crystal Arrow will land on the Valor as well. Seismic Shove will push 2 away, but they are going to get the 3rd kill. It's a double for Corn Dog, and now they can turn their attention to the Baron. Darken is split pushing on the top side, but they're going to send Skedaddle back to hold him, and they are going to get the Baron before the Dragon spawns, and this will be a massive advantage for Gentle Hearts. Great heads-up play to understand they were ahead and they could go for this.
Yeah, and very smart usage of the Lamb's Respite just now in order to keep their HP bars up. That'll let them get the Baron. And Darken Warrior is trying to get that split push pressure on, but like I said earlier, that's not a Fiora. You're not able to pressure as much as a Fiora can. The tower's still alive, has to burn Flash and Ghost just to survive. And huge plays coming out from Gentle Hearts Gaming. You never see someone using Baron as a bait objective, especially at this CeeLo. Very smart play.
Absolutely, and it is a fantastic play to set up. When you're stronger than the other team, and there's nothing for you to take at the moment, and you believe that, let's say you could snap your fingers and force a fight and force the other team to fight you, you could win and get a massive advantage. Well, that is your magic way to get them to fight you. You start the Baron and you play for the turn, and that's exactly what Gentle Hearts did. Like you said, Togi, that's a high-level play and one that gets major advantages for teams at the highest elos. And this is what Gentle Hearts used to get that. And now a fight's going to break out here. Eugene wants to jump in and look for something, but there's simply nothing there for Star Nation. And it is destruction of their tier 2. And they lose their jungler right before the Drake as well. This is a disaster for Star Nation in this mid game.
Yeah, they do have the HP advantages, but Teals does have TP. So it seems to me like Gentle Hearts Gaming should be able to secure the soul if they want it. But the way they've been playing, the way they've been just super aggressive, I don't even know if they care about it. As they do push down towards tier 2, the tier 2 tower, but we do see Star Nation shoving down mid. And we may be looking at the start of a base race, depending on how the teams decide to approach this.
Well, it's going to be Darken grabbing the tier 2 top turret. And that's an objective bounty, so you're going to see how much gold he gets. 780, that's absolutely huge. And they could turn back to the dragon. Now, Eugene trying to get into the pit. Corn Dog is going to chase him forward. The Drake has been started, but is still quite healthy now. Corn Dog's going to hit it. Skedaddle's in a 1 versus 4 situation, and now Gentle Hearts has to be really careful because they've just killed the top laner. It's only Tactics back here right now. Now Teals joins the party as well. Darken's very low. Another objective bounty could go down. Cammy kills the J4, dive down by the Drake pit, so this will be the soul to go over to Gentle Hearts, and they're able to avoid what looked like could have been a scary situation. They're able to split their players around the map well enough to hold on to all their inhibitor towers and secure the soul as well.
Yeah, I think delaying that soul, they did get that tier 2 tower, but honestly, I would have liked to see them push for the tier 3. Because in the end, they got the objective bounty with that tier 2 tower in the top lane. They were able to get the mid priority. And I think they just overall gave a lot of the map back to Star Nation when I don't think they really needed to. But in the end, they were still able to get soul, while Star Nation was able to get some gold back. Gentle Hearts Gaming is still in a very commanding lead.
They absolutely are. And now, in 5 minutes' time, assuming that 5 more minutes will be played in this game, the new thing that's thrown into the mix in this game is the Elder Drake. Now, Star Nation is behind, but if there's a world where you can find a steal and force a fight, Elder can make up even a 3k, 4k gold deficit and put a fight into your favor just because of the sheer power of that objective. So Gentle Hearts still has to be careful as to how they play the next fights around the time that Elder does spawn, because if they mess up their timing, there can still be a window for Star Nation to come back. And they're also playing aggressive despite being so far behind. I do like this out of Star Nation, looking for anything that they can get. They're not just rolling over and letting Gentle Hearts get the win for free. They're making them work for it. So I do like this out of Star Nation, and we'll see if it ends up being successful for them. And right now, Gentle Hearts just have to focus on Now, knocking down these towers as best they can. Maker forced to flash away, did not have cleanse, so if that enchanted crystal arrow hit, he definitely would have dropped. Now the push will continue in the mid lane. We'll see where Gentle Hearts goes from here.
Yeah, they do have pretty decent wave clear coming out from the Talia and the Caitlyn, so I don't think they'll be able to pressure this tier 3, but this tier 2 tower is something they can definitely play towards. And getting rid of that flash off of Maker, that's a really big play. That's going to be something that they're going to... Oh, and we're back into a pause. But to finish my thought, that's something they could definitely punish moving forward. No
Yeah.
flash on the AD carry. Caitlyn does have her 90 caliber net, but it's still not like complete mobility. Kami would still be able to run her down. Tactics is point and click route. Teals has 3 dashes, so you can get rid of the first one, but the next 2 will get onto you. So it's going to be difficult to position.
Yeah, a 90 caliber net is a good peel tool, but it is no flash. It's not instantaneous. It can be interrupted. So Maker is going to have to play with extra caution in these fights. They're sieging the tier 2 down there. I saw Eugene standing still, and I was like, oh, he's definitely going to DC. But he's back, so we should be able to get back into the game very soon. The siege in the top side for Gentle Hearts will commence. I assume they will be able to take this tower without much resistance from Star Nation. It's simply not worth it for them to coin flip the game. For that, it's going to drop whether they would like it or not. They're best to just defend their inhibitor towers and play for a Miracle Elder play. Try and get Darkin Warrior like he's doing now in the mid lane to push out as many waves as he can to reduce the pressure that's being applied to their base and see if they can make something happen at the Elder. I'm going to keep bringing up Elder because I simply do not see a world where Star Nation wins a fight, let alone the entire game, without acquiring the power of that objective. It would have to be a monumental misplay from Gentle Hearts. All they have to do is play this game slow, similar to the way that Star Nation won game number 1, where they spread their players out and they took it slow. They didn't overcommit to anything and give Gentle Hearts a way back in. That's the exact same way Gentle Hearts needs to play this game now, and if they do so, they can force game 3.
Yeah, and they are getting set up. Looks like the game is unpaused, but we're gonna have to wait for the spectate timer to finish, and then there will be that extra little bug going on afterwards, but we should get in soon. But I 100% agree. I think it's going to be very difficult to win without Elder. And more importantly, we do see that the Baron's going to be spawning as Eugene does disconnect and reconnect. Hopefully we're not going to be in the pause for too long. But if there's one thing that League of Legends has at every single level, whether you're an amateur team, whether you're an IBS team, LCS, Worlds, we share in our pauses with every league. And it's nice that we do have something that we can really connect together with, even if it's just this one thing.
It brings all levels of competition together. The unavoidable pauses, issues, connections, kicking of PCs, punching of monitors, whatever's disrupting the gameplay, it happens at all levels. And it did look like Eugene reconnected, so we will be able to get back into the game very soon. The siege is continuing in the top side, and now we're back into it. We will have that freeze on the stream inevitably because of how that works.
Yeah,
But
we
it's
do
going to
see
be the
Dark
reset
and
now.
Warrior is pushing in the mid lane. They are fighting. It actually looks like the fight's going over
Impale
towards
comes
Skedaddle.
through. Darken is low, down to 30%. Oh, and we
What a
get
freeze
the
frame!
freeze frame. Yeah, exactly. Right as he's casting the apprehend, he's going to pull Skedaddle in. Recalls are being channeled, and the flank is happening for Teals. Now we'll see what Darken Warrior can do. Misses out on the healing, on the Q. Pay attention to the position of the Ahri. Hawkshot is going to spot him out. Will they use the enchanted crystal arrow to try and stun him up? It doesn't look like it. An excellent use of the pressure from Darkin to force Gentle Hearts away from the towers that they were sieging. But Eugene, trying to take this Scuttle Crab, you're not allowed to do this right now, my friend. You don't have control of the jungle. Able to get away. Enchanted Crystal Arrow was used, but Teals does have Spirit Rush. Do they chase him down? They're not going to do so. 2.5 minutes to go on the Elder. This is going to be the critical mass of the game.
Interestingly enough, I think that actually benefits Star Nation as the hook does not land. No fight's going to be started.
Oh,
Kickback
they're
does
slowed
neither.
though. Here comes Corn Dog. Gonna have to use Flash, and in comes Skedaddle from the flank as well. This could be the fight that ends the game. Now Teal's on the flank. Spirit Rush forward. Double kill for Corn Dog. Make it a triple kill. That's going to be 4 dead. I talked about the Elder. You were just about to say, Toki, something that benefits Star Nation, which was that last play that they made. But now all of that does not matter anymore because Gentle Hearts are going to tank the 2 towers for themselves. Flash forward from Darkin to try and make some miracle play happen, but the Lamb's Respite will stop him in his tracks if there was any miracle play to be had. First Nexus Tower will drop, second will follow, and the Nexus will be the prize that Gentle Hearts claim. Backs against the wall, they force game number 3.
Yeah, and we did have the triple pause going into the final part of the game, but they were able to get that flank. I was gonna say, because they got Teals' flash, they got Teals' ultimate, but Teals was able to channel that ultimate straight into a mid lane play, and Darkened Warrior was never able to reset and get his HP back to where he could be useful in a fight. He had his recall interrupted first by the flash from Teals, and then second, over by trying to stop Skedaddle's engage. And while he was able to prevent Skedaddle from engaging into the team, he wasn't able to stop Teals. There was too many avenues of engagement coming out from the Gentle Hearts Gaming. Just an absolutely perfect pincer maneuver.
And that's what we talked about in the lead up to game number 2. We said in game 1 there wasn't enough tools for Gentle Hearts to force the fights that they wanted in game 1. The adaptations came through for game 2. They added Ari to their composition for charms. They added Ash for enchanted crystal arrows. They had Maokai. They had a plethora of options to force those fights that were favorable for them, and they had a much better game. That was dominant almost from beginning to end. There was a few macro mistakes that got Star Nation those towers that they were able to pick up, but in the end, it was all Gentle Hearts from start to finish. They were in control for most of the game, and they had a stellar game number 2, and we will see if they can replicate that success in game 3. And in my opinion, it really comes down to the draft. It looked like Star Nation was really good with the split push comp. Gentle Hearts does really well with the team fighting composition. So in the next draft, it's going to be very important to see what type of comps these teams can pick up and pull out. But now we are going to head to a break because we are going to wait for the teams to get settled in. We're going to wait for that draft to begin. We will be back with game number 3, so don't go anywhere. This series will wrap up and we will have our victor when we come back. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Back to game number 3, and we do have a change in the sides. Star Nation, with the side selection, has decided to take red side this time, so maybe saving a counter pick for their top laner, their mid laner, their support. We'll have to see as the draft goes on. But Gentle Hearts, we just saw, if you're just joining us, the series is at 1-1. Ferris and Toki on the caster desk, and we have game 3 ready to go. Both these teams taking a game off each other. It was Gentle Hearts bouncing back after being down 1-0 in the series with a much better draft for themselves and a much better played out game. And so we'll see if they can replicate that success going forward. For Star Nation, we'll see what the adaptations are going to be. And we do see a Kindred bid now coming through. Gentle Hearts sticking with their guns and keeping that Fiora ban from last game. That worked for them. And interestingly enough, Star Nation has decided, Toki, we're going to take away the Skarner this time. So we'll see how that plays out for a topside matchup.
Yeah. They're them taking red side, them taking well, this is gonna completely derail everything I was about to say, so I'm glad I haven't said it yet. But Cassante, first pick for Gentle Hearts Gaming, I think they probably have the exact same read on this that I do. Star Nation wanted to get rid of the safe pick in Skarner and wanted that R5 pick in order to get Darkin further ahead. Darkin's already proved in game 1. Give him a lead, give him a strong carry, and he will be able to win the game for you. But Gentle Hearts Gaming knows that, so they're like, you know what? We're just going to pick Asante. Not quite as safe as Skarner, but also a very difficult rock to knock out in the top lane. Can win with low CS. Skedaddle once again on weak side duty, poor guy, but he performs it well. And Gentle Hearts Gaming looks like they're just going to go for the win, as we do see the Camille getting hovered. And if Dark can fix that, top lane's definitely going to be the lane to watch for this game.
And it's going to be locked in. So that is going to be our new top lane matchup. No more Skarner. Cassante, like you said, Toki, can be an effective weak side laner and also has tools when the ultimate is used, and even when you're not in your ultimate, you know, Cassante Gaming can fight back and win a lot of matchups that other weak side tank type champions can't necessarily win. And now the Jinx is locked in as well for Star Nation. They were hovering that Caitlyn that's been the go-to for Maker these past 2 games, but have decided against it. They are going for something that doesn't necessarily need as much or doesn't rely as much on early game power and can scale more nicely into the late game and play a better team fight front to back style. The response for Gentle Hearts is going to be something aggressive. It's going to be Lucian. So the last 2 times it's been Jin, it's been Ashe here for them, and now they're actually playing something that is going to be very aggressive for Cammy this time around. And so I actually think this is a pick that he really likes. I was looking at op.gg's before this match began, and I did see a ton of games of Lucian for Cammy, at least in the first split of season 14. So this is a comfort pick, and we'll see if it brings them success down in the bot side.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna try and pick Talio once again on the side of Star Nation. It seemed to like it into the Ari matchup last game, and we have 3 dashes already. Gonna have to wait and see. But I wanted to ask you about a mechanic. Oh, they do go with the Milio for the Jinx. I guess that works in twofold. Because Milio very good with Jinx, but at the same time, Milio is very strong with Lucian. So they pick up the Milio, they ban out the Nami, and with that, those are kind of the 2 biggest natural pairings for Lucian. I'm wondering what they're going to end up doing. Braum is another good one, but Braum into a double ranged matchup is not what you want to have. This is a very difficult lane to play. You're not going to be effective. You either hit your Q or you take half your health and damage on repeat.
Yeah, that's good analysis from you, Toki. The 2 strongest laners with Lucian are the Milio Nami. Braum also good as well, but like you said, range, it's hard for Braum. He likes to prevent engage, doesn't do so well when there's consistent damage coming his way. So they're going to ban away the Blitzcrank too, Star Nation. I think that's very smart because double range does get countered quite hard by champions that can pull you into them and completely negate that range advantage that you want to have. So support, that is the question here for Gentle Hearts. What do they want to play? Now, there were lots of bans like the Leona, like the Nautilus last game in the draft, and those 2 champions are available here, and things that work well with Lucian, who is a champion that really needs to win lane to be effective. If you're not getting ahead with Lucian, you're not winning lane, then this champion, especially into a Jinx, isn't going to have as much success. So I do think they are going to draft something very lane aggressive, maybe the Leona, maybe the Nautilus as well. That is sort of where I am leaning towards for support picks on the side of Gentle Hearts. Now the second round of picks have begun. We're going to see what the blind pick is here for the side of Star Nation. Actually, they haven't picked their mid yet, so they'll probably go with mid right now, so it's not actually a blind pick. Galio, not a bad choice. There is only 1 AP champion on Gentle Hearts so far, but it also gives some engage here. So maybe Braum value could still be good if they want. Can mess up Camille, can mess up Galio. Let's find out on the blue 4 or 5 picks.
One thing I'm curious about is Pike for General Hearts Gaming. Because you did mention that Leona, you mentioned the Nautilus, but Milio is able to counter both of those engages quite easily because they kind of bring themselves into you. Thresh's banned, that would be another good option, but Pike does not have that issue. He is a hook champion that pulls the enemy towards you, and he is someone that will be able to one-shot the Milio and Jinx alongside Lucian if he is able to get that. It might be a little bit too outlandish, too out there, but we have seen this team. They love to play aggressive. They are definitely not shy mechanically. I'm really looking forward to see who they pick on support. And they do go with the Braum.
Yeah, defaulting to the Braum. I think it's a safer pick. I liked your Pike idea, although sometimes Pike can have trouble with Milio's Fireball kick, which can pull him out of his Bone Skewer. So he has a hard time there. And I think Braum is okay, not necessarily for lane. It's not super effective into double range. However, there's great synergy with Lucian. You can stack concussive blows quickly. And against champions like Galio, Poppy, and Camille, who are melee, they will have a hard time playing into the Braum. They're going to get hit with a concussive blow stun. Glacial Fissure as well, the ultimate of Braum, is going to be a painful one. So I think this is more of a pick that's going to find success outside of lane and provide peel for Lucian to carry these fights. And I think it's the safe choice for them, even though it isn't as strong in the lane phase, that is. And this Poppy likely going into the jungle here for Eugene can provide problems too with the steadfast presence on the Ari and the Vi.
Yeah, but I'm a little bit surprised about this Galio and Poppy. I do think having one of them is very good. It helps prevent the Vi. It counters the Ari as well. It basically makes it very hard for any of the dashing champions, Lucian included. He's quite short range to really get into the fight. But I think now with the Galio and Poppy, Braum doesn't seem as bad. The lane is definitely going to be difficult, but it is something that he will be able to get himself. You know, he's going to be solid later on. He's going to be able to help heal with the Camille. They don't really have a good way of knocking the Camille out of the ultimate. So if she does dive onto someone, she will be able to keep them within her ultimate the entire duration, which is one concern. But I think I'm going to go back to what I said at the first minute, but I think it really is going to depend on the top lane matchup. If Camille is able to win that side lane, I think it's very difficult for Gentle Hearts Gaming to do anything. But on the other hand, I think in 5v5s, Gentle Hearts Gaming is going to absolutely run through Star Nation.
They could, and it does come down to execution because both teams have great team fighting. And the thing about Star Nation's comp, like you just mentioned, the fact that Camille can play the side lane, they can play a similar style to the way they played in game one with Darken's Fiora if he gets that lead that you talked about. If he doesn't, they are probably forced into another team fighting scenario, and we know how good Gentle Hearts can be. So I'm just going to add further emphasis onto the top lane matchup. You were already talking about its importance, but I think the way that this matchup goes between Darkin and Skedaddle, if Skedaddle starts to win or Darkin doesn't get an advantage, then it's going to make it harder for Darkin to side lane, and he's going to be forced to adopt a more team fighting style, something that Gentle Hearts are very good at. If Darkin pulls ahead and Gentle Hearts need two people to take out this Camille in the side lane, then he can apply that pressure for his team 4 versus 4 to get towers elsewhere, which is something that they really excelled at in game one. So top lane, we got to just pay a lot of attention to it, and I wonder if the junglers are going to play towards that lane as well, thinking this exact same thing.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited to see how this goes. The other possible pairing we do have is the Vi Ari. It's a very easy combo to pull off, very strong. We see a lot of teams in pro play using this. But unfortunately, they're into the Galio. And Galio's not someone you can really use those plays on, as he just has a ton of health sustain and just ways of preventing that combo from going down on him.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Galio is a champion that can be really weak, but also very strong. It just depends on the angles that you can find. Can be used for engage and disengage as well, and also roaming too. Ari likes to roam. Galio can potentially match those roams with the heroic entrance too. And also, we've yet to talk about the Camille Galio combo. Camille uses Hextech Ultimatum onto a target, then Galio can use heroic entrance onto Camille to get a guaranteed knockup on the target that's locked in that hexagon there. So this can be a very powerful team fighting tool. It can be a very powerful skirmish tool if they want to stack members on a side lane to help out Darkin here. Lots of things, lots of flexibility in this Star Nation comp that they've been able to draft here.
Yeah, and I think we can both agree at this point, it's really going to come down to execution. I don't think any one side has really won the draft. I do favor it slightly for Star Nation, I'll be honest. Like you mentioned, the Galio Camille combo is very strong, and Darkin on a carry has shown how scary he can become late game. But it's it's really just going to come down to which players can perform, which players will be able to clutch it out in this final game 3.
And so while we wait for that spectator delay to finish, we will head to a break before the game begins. And when we return, we'll be into game and ready to see who takes it in the very first game between these two teams in the Titan Vanquisher League. Don't go anywhere. Game 3 coming right up. And it all comes down to this game number 3, Gentle Hearts Gaming, Star Nation Esports. Both teams have taken a game off of each other. If you're just joining us on the caster desk today, Ferris and Tokibi, and we're bringing you game number 3. Here we go. 5-point start for both teams. It's a different style. We saw invades the last 2 times and some vertical jungling split map shenanigans. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case this time around. Both of these teams protecting their own jungle, and we will have a standard start to start it off, and we will see who can get the better of who and who will start the season off 1-0.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out that right now, Gentle Hearts Gaming and Star Nation both decide to 5-point. They know that this is the last game. This is the game that matters. And so they're trying to play it a little bit safe. I'm hoping that this doesn't come in to their main game. Once the laning phase starts, once the team fights begin, I would like to see them still being confident. But it is always interesting to see these different adaptations done for Game 3. As Darkin Warrior does get a ward and sees Corndog.
We'll spot out where the jungler begins, and so that intel will be given to Star Nation. It's always nice to know. I actually think the info is earned from the side of Gentle Hearts too. So both teams know where the junglers will start. And it's actually going to be Maker and JMG with priority. I think this will be the theme of bot lane. Is the Lucian and the Braum will struggle against the range of the Jinx and the Milio. And it will be up to Corndog to help them out here and see if they can find themselves any gank opportunities. And really for the Lucian Braum, it might just be take it slow for the lane phase, get your CS up as best you can, and then play for mid priority later on, which Lucian excels at getting. You can use the culling to force them off of those waves, and this might just be the play for them. And it's going to be Corndog pathing towards bot. Eugene is a bit slower on the clear, and a ward has been dropped, a deep ward that's actually going to spot out where Eugene is, so more intel going the way of Gentle Hearts. But both junglers will be on the bot side. It's just right now Corndog has a little bit of a faster clear.
Yeah, and with that information, Skedaddle and Darkened Warrior can kind of fight it out if they would choose to. But I don't think either Cassante or Camille really want to fight before they get a couple more items in their pockets. So it does seem like both sides are aiming towards bot lane as they almost get the stun onto JMG, but unfortunately Kami does take the poor end of that trade. But they do have lane priority right now, and they know Corndog is nearby. He's going to be able to kind of watch them, make sure that if Eugene does try to gank them, he won't be able to get too far into it. As Teals throws down yet another ward, it'll help protect him, but it'll also help watch Eugene when he goes towards that bot crab, which continues to protect their bot lane even further.
Yep, making sure Eugene isn't going to get involved down here and give the Jinx an early lead, which they definitely do not want. Corndog will secure that bottom scuttle, and they might look to invade here onto Eugene, who is looking towards, no, actually has full cleared that bot side. Or is that Gromp up and alive? I do see some pings.
That Gromp is gone, but they did force Eugene to use his smite on that. He will have another one coming up as both of the junglers are racing over towards the crab. But top lane prio is in favor of Darkened Warrior right now, though he does not really have any mana. So I don't know how much he'd be able to do if he does show up to this fight, as Eugene is the first one to the crab.
Smite fight. It goes the way of Eugene. Able to pick that one up. Now some trading happening. Both junglers level 4, but there's not much to fight over at the moment. And of course, Darkin has that prio, like you said, low on mana, but Skedaddle low on HP. So the Cassante won't be able to help out if any fight broke out. But no fight will end up breaking out. In the bot lane, though, I want to note the importance of conserving HP for the Lucian Braum. You want to be able to have as much HP as possible if a fight breaks out. Let's say a gank happens, and if you are too low, then situations arise where Jinx and Milio can even go as far as to 3 versus 2. So conserving that HP is something that they are going to want to try and prioritize as much as they can. Corndog is in the top lane and helping Skedaddle push out this wave, because otherwise he would be in quite the unfortunate situation here with that wave state. Darkin cannot hold this wave. It's simply too big. He's going to try his very best. You're going to take a lot of damage if you try this, my friend. This is, yeah, not going to be successful in doing that. The wave's going to crash, and Skedaddle will get himself a nice reset.
I'm wondering if for Dark and Warrior, he was just trying to delay Corndog's back because he knows that if any of them walk forward, they have to. He has to just give it away, walk back into the tower. But because of that, Corndog spent 6 seconds trying to get his recall started, had to stop his back just to walk a couple steps forward. So, and with Corndog on the ward, I think it wasn't a bad play for Dark and Warrior at all. Not going to end up amounting to too much for either side, but very interesting to see the way these players think.
And now the Hextech Drake is alive. Grubs is alive as well. The last 2 games we've seen trades. Will we see a contest on an initial neutral objective this time around? Both Eugene and Corndog are down here. Priority for the moment is in favor of Star Nation again. The wave clear of Jinx is quite overwhelming when you're playing a champion like Lucian, who can't quite get in range, especially when you have a Braum. So the control of the river will be Star Nation's. And they also have Galio down here too. I'm wondering, do they feel confident enough just to start it? Eugene is hovering around that area. And I do believe he was just grabbing some vision. No, we're actually going to start this one up. So we'll see if a contest comes through in the coming seconds.
Yeah, both mid laners are level 6. Maker a little bit low on mana, but doesn't matter too much for the Jinx, as long as she's able to get enough rockets to start. But they do have the numbers, they do have the prio, and it does look like Gentle Hearts Gaming is just going to give it. No, they do walk into contest.
Wallbreaker being charged, canceled by the fireball kick. Here comes Cammy and Tactics. It's going to be a smite bite. Who's going to grab it? It's going to be the Lucian to grab the Drake. Heroic entrance comes through, cease and desist. Will go down onto the Milio. They're trying to find that first kill. Tactics will join up with the buy as well. Baldur running away. It's just a disengage for Star Nation. And it's Gentle Hearts who have acquired the dragon and also pushed their opponents out of the river. And so they get the win here in this exchange. Excellent start for them.
Yeah, and on top of all that, they were able to force Maker and JMG to run mid. So Kami and Tactics are going to be able to shove in this wave towards the bot side. And it'll help even out this CS lead that Maker was holding for himself before all of this started. A really good steal for Kami that made the entire play 100% worth it.
And now they can contest Grubs too. They have the Drake. They can go right to Grubs. Skedaddle has prio for the moment. And you can see Tactics is moving up with Corndog to this objective. And the Milio, JMG, is with his ADC in the bot side. So this could be both early neutrals secured for Gentle Hearts. Given the priority that they have, we'll see what they want to do. It looks like they're just going to go straight to this objective. They have a control ward here, so they know that there's no vision from Star Nation. Eugene is channeling the recall. In this early game, it's all Gentle Hearts right now. They are starting strong here in Game 3.
Yeah, and Maker JMG have opted to freeze the lane bot side, but I don't even think that's worth it because all that's going to do is it's going to give Tactics the time to help Corndog with this while the wave stacks for Kami. So Kami's not even going to end up missing that much. They're not going to get any plates. Just overall, a very big beneficial trade for Gentle Hearts Gaming, and Kami doesn't lose pretty much anything for it.
Yeah,
if they're
that's
able
the
to...
importance. Yeah, exactly. That's the importance of roaming when you know the wave is okay for your ADC. Now they're going to try and force him away. Eugene is looking for an angle here on the stun, but he's all by himself. Eugene is very much overextended. Now Tactics is going to flank him, forced to flash into the tower. The Glacial Fisher's here though, and he's dropping down very low, but there is going to be the ultimate to knock him back. But now Teals is here to join the party. The charm does miss. No heroic charge to stun him along the wall. The Spirit Rush charges will be used. And the first Q will go wide, and Eugene is so close to falling low. Teals does not have flash to follow this play. He's looking for something. He wants it, but isn't able to find it. So they tried to punish the Lucian, but everyone joined back from the Grubs play to protect their AD carry. And like you said, Toki, they don't lose much.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Gentle Hearts Gaming not able to get that kill onto Eugene. But very good play for them overall. They do lose a plate mid and a couple of CS that Teals will lose for this, as well as Teals's and Kami's and Tactics flash. Flash gone for everyone on the bot side, while only Eugene had to use his. So it does open up a possible play for Star Nation to come towards that bot side again and try to force a play, because with Eugene there, you can't even dash as the Lucian. So they would definitely be able to force something, as we do see him thinking about in the bot lane.
Well, Darkin has to be careful now. All Out might come through here for Skedaddle on the solo kill. Chooses not to use it, and Darkin will escape. And you mentioned, Toki, there are no flashes here for the bot lane. First blood goes away. If Eugene give the second one to the Jinx, that's exactly what they do. And Maker is going to be on the board here, the Jinx. And now Corndog trying to make a counterplay for himself top side, not able to take out Darkin. They can try and push out this wave that Skedaddle is dealing with, or choose to freeze it. There is no TP, so Darkin gonna miss out on a lot. But nonetheless, 2 kills, no flashes. Excellent counterplay here from Star Nation.
Yeah, and even that play in the top side, Corndog had to burn Flash for it, Dark and Warrior only had to burn his ulti. So that's another trade that does go forward towards Star Nation. He does lose a lot of CS. The lane is in a very bad spot for him, but eventually it will push back. And more importantly, he already has a CS lead over Skedaddle. So the fact that he loses out on this does not put him behind. It merely puts him even with this Cassante.
And even is what you want when you're playing Camille into almost anyone, because you are such a threat in the late stage of the game. And you know, you played Darius last game, Darkin, but now you're playing a champion when later on you have a Darius ult on a 2-second cooldown. We all know that the way that Camille works there is now Eugene could be in some trouble. Trying to take away the Scuttle Crab, but tactics will force him away, and they will be able to get this for themselves. The second pair of grubs is spawning soon. 9 seconds on the Drake. The Drake will start up first, and will it be Star Nation this time to be able to win out that smite fight? They should have control over the river if this push comes through from the Jinx. But now the next 2 plays to happen are these next 2 objectives, and Darkin's moving down for the play.
Yeah, and we do see that Dragon is coming up. Darkin is a little bit low. You said he is walking down, but he also does have TP, whereas Skedaddle does not. So I would like to see him try and pressure his wave a little bit more, as they are forcing a play out to bot side.
Ooh, Maker forced to use Flash. That's a really good thing for Gentle Hearts to force out before the upcoming fights, is no Flash on the Jinx. Makes her a much easier target. They also didn't use the cease and desist from the Vi, so they can use that to get onto Maker quite easily in a fight. 5 minutes until that Flash comes back, so that will definitely be down for this play. And now it's Gentle Hearts with priority in this river, and they are going to starve the Drake.
Yeah, and Drake should be free. They would have to force pretty hard to get in, though they are jumping onto Tactics and Kami. It looks like they do want to try forcing this.
Running away, the heroic charge will not get a stun down. Glacial Fissure used to buy some space between himself and Eugene. And successfully, Star Nation are able to pull them off of the Drake. But now, Valder is in trouble. The calling is used, and Corndog will pick up the kill. That's 2 ultimates used to grab. Actually, 3 ultimates used to pick up the kill onto the Star Nation mid laner. Now, is that enough for them to go back to this Drake? No. They have pushed in topside. Skedaddle very close to finding himself a solo kill. They're going to be able to get 6 scrubs for themselves. And can Star Nation trade the Drake, though? That is the question.
Yeah, and I think it's very smart that Corndog immediately decides to move over to the top side and just take the grub. They did win the fight as we see the
kill
dive.
here. Skedaddle gets the solo kill. It's going to be a 1-for-1 underneath the tower, though.
Yeah, but again, look at that wave that's being lost by Darkened Warrior right now. Corndog was able to see that they have the wave coming in topside, and they took advantage of it. They do have to give up Dragon Fort, but it's just first Dragon. Don't think any kills will be coming down here, as they do just go for a reset. And they're also able to take that into Rift Herald. Yeah, I know, I think this whole macro play has gone very much in the favor of Gentle Hearts Gaming. Losing that Dragon, not a big deal. They gained 3 more grubs, and the Herald, and a dive onto Darkened Warrior that he knew was safe because Corndog was there. And as you can see, the CS lead is completely evened out on the top side too.
Yeah, the Cassante has started to fight back against the Camille a little bit here. And that's what Cassante can do. We said the difference between Cassante and other weak side champions is he does have access to more damage than your average tank does, and so he can duel the Camille a lot better. Now, unfortunately, yes, the Rift Herald was able to be taken from Corndog, although the grubs despawned, so only 4 grubs were secured rather than 6. You still get that Void Might spawn. It was changed not too long ago from 5 to 4, which is the threshold to get some Void Might spawning, so at the very least they have that. And I still think they're in a relatively decent spot. We'll see how well they play the mid game with their Lucian. As this Jinx, though, pay attention to the Jinx. Has IE finished, has great CS, is 1-0, although now they're using the Herald to crack open this bot side tower, and JMG is way too overextended, is going to drop here, and now Maker doesn't have flash as well. I just caster cursed them into oblivion. Darkin Warrior has committed the TP, but for the moment it's still 3 versus 2. Cammy is forced to kite away, but Cammy is free hitting. They're trying to push away now. Darkin Warrior down to half HP. Valder is here to join the fight, but this is still a 2-for-0 plus a tower in favor of Gentle Hearts. They're going to go in onto Darkin. They're going to find him with the charm. Cammy is taking a lot of damage, but he's still alive. They just don't have the cooldowns here. Valder's forced to fall as well. If he can find the last bit of damage on the Spirit Rush, the charm was so good to cancel the heroic charge. That was excellent stuff from Teals, and they're going to get this Herald crash down into the tier 2 as well. It's a massive play for Gentle Hearts and exactly what they need in this swing game, game number 3.
And just like that, the game has definitely opened up for the Gentle Hearts Gaming. And Skedaddle wasn't even needed for that play. That, all said and done, was 5v4 in the favor of Star Nation. But because Gentle Hearts Gaming played that aggressive style, they picked off JMG and straight into the pick-off on Maker. And then after that, while they did already use their cooldowns, it was 4v3. Velder wasn't able to ulti. Teals was on his tail the entire time. So he never really had a good timing to use that. Very well played mechanically and macro-wise from Gentle Hearts Gaming.
And they are cruising now. And we saw Gentle Hearts in this position last game. They had a comfortable 3,000 gold lead for the majority of the mid game, and they were able to convert that into a comfortable win, and they held that lead throughout the entirety of the game after they had acquired it. So we'll see if they can replicate that success here. Their next objective will be the mid tower. Knock down the mid tower, maintain priority of mid lane with your Lucian, then look to get vision in the enemy jungle and look for fights while you're stronger. That needs to be the game plan right now. They need to not give the Jinx Milio prio of the mid lane, and they need to keep their bot lane safe as they push. And if they do that, then they're going to be very successful. Look at Teal's positioning here. Has been caught out here by Eugene. The heroic charge will stun him up. Does have the Spirit Rush available. Now down to half HP, we'll be able to get out of this one, but now the fight has been forced. Darkin Warrior goes in with the Hextech Ultimate and Heroic Charge going to land as well, but there's simply no one that was knocked up. The Keeper's Verdict will be canceled, and the first kill of the fight will go the way of Gentle Hearts. The cease and desist onto Maker. He's trying to run for his life, but the dash over the wall from Cammy, excellent stuff. He finds the kill. That's 3 for Gentle Hearts. The TP coming through as well, but I don't think it's needed. Skedaddle could have continued to push because they got it 5 versus 4 just like the last time. Charm will land onto Darkin. Now the Vault Breaker comes through as well. He's trying to try and use the hook shot to get out, but he can't quite do it. Tier 1 will fall. This is a perfect situation for Gentle Hearts now, and they are in full commanding lead of this game.
Skedaddle just feeling a little bit lonely on his own in the top lane. He sees that his team is winning 4v5 and he says, you know what, I want to be a part of this. So he TPs in. And while it wasn't needed for the initial fight, I think it definitely helped in securing that final kill onto Darkin Warrior. But that's a 6k gold lead opening up, 10-3. They don't have the dragon stacking, but if the game keeps going at this pace, I don't think Soul is even gonna be on the table for either team. And I really want to see them keep pushing this pace. Like I said earlier, they need to keep moving, keep pressuring, keep pushing, because the Jinx will scale. The Jinx will be terrifying later on. And they do have that terrifying combo of Galio Camille. But we see the dragon spawning right now. That's the 3rd dragon. And they still don't have the Galio ultimate available for this. So all in all, any fight, if it was to start, would heavily benefit the Gentle Hearts Gaming, even if we take away their gold lead.
And that's why Star Nation has decided to give this one up. They don't need to fight it. There's no threat of the soul. They can't afford to take any more fights because they know that they're behind. What they have to do right now is they have to turtle as best as they can. They have to mitigate any engagement opportunities away from Gentle Hearts and get their Jinx and their Camille to get into some type of position where, some type of power position where they can feel comfortable to bring themselves back into this game. But it's going to be very tough because the pressure is being applied from Gentle Hearts. Skedaddle now trying to find the 1v1 here onto Darkin Warrior, who's outplaying it for the moment, and Skedaddle forced to retreat. But the game plan for Star Nation now shifts from fighting to avoiding any fights at all costs. Get as much farm into your Camille and your Jinx as possible to get to a point where then once again on your 2-3 item spikes, you can fight them even at a deficit like 5k gold.
Yeah, and what if they are able to bring it there, they will be able to deal a ton of damage. One thing I'd like to point out with this Skedaddle Darkened Warrior, back when it was Fiora Skarner, Darkened Warrior was still winning the trades, but he was also able to solo kill Skedaddle. I don't think Camille is able to solo kill this Cassante, and I don't think it's gonna get any easier as the game goes on.
And now Darkin Warrior is in a whole world of trouble. He's caught up between two people now, going to use the Hextech Ultimatum and the hookshot to try and get away, but the cease and desist will follow him all the way forward, and the flash gets him nowhere. It's a disaster for Darkin, and that's a pick in the top side for Gentle Hearts. What can they do with this numbers advantage? They might turn towards the Baron, and it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. Wait, Eugene's on the bot side as well. They are absolutely going to go for the Baron. This should be free, Toki.
Yeah, they do have the vision on it, but unlike game one where it was a Jhin, this game they have the Lucian. Lucian's able to put out a lot of damage onto Baron. It's still going to be a little bit scary. It's only 20 minutes, and as we know, Baron has gotten a lot stronger this split. They do aim for the charm, not able to get it, so it looks like they are just planning on using it to bait a fight. And they will be backing off now. Smart play. But I'm still loving the fact that they're using Baron as a way to start a fight. Their engage tool is Baron right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Force your opponent to respond and fight you when you're ahead. That's exactly what Gentle Hearts are doing. So I expect to see them, although they pulled off just now, and I think that was the right play. There is no reason to coin flip a Baron. If you are someone watching this game right now, if you're ever in a situation like this, never, ever, ever, no matter how far ahead you are, flip the Baron, because that is how you throw games. That's how the other team's jungler steals it away. Gentle Hearts know this. They pull off, but I expect them in the future to look for that play again. Even if it's 5v5, even after they get one pick, they'll go for it. But even if it's 5v5, they'll still go for it and look for a fight because they're stronger. They know their opponent's scale. They should keep that in the back of their mind. We can't just sit back and be complacent with our lead. We do have to continue to extend it further. Teals now could be caught out and is going to be caught out. The heroic charge will stun him up, can't go anywhere when the steadfast presence is up. Did not have Spirit Rush available. A critical mistake here for the Gentle Hearts mid laner, and is going to alleviate some of the pressure for Star Nation.
Yeah, and that was a big shutdown to get too. He was 4-0 before that play. Unfortunately, the kill did go over to Eugene. I think you would still prefer that on Velder. But that's 750 gold going over towards that Galio. And I said this earlier, but Galio deals damage now. He is no longer just a CC bot that you throw in the mid lane when you don't have enough CC on your team. He is someone that will be able to burst out Kami or Teals and perchance even do a lot of damage over towards Corndog. It's not the worst on Eugene, and we do see that Eugene is actually building the Knight's Vow. Gonna try and protect Maker on that Jinx. Keep her a little bit more solid, and especially into the RE Vi matchup, it is important to keep your Jinx alive and basically give her more tools for this.
Look at this 300 IQ flank from Skedaddle. Darkin had no idea the Cassante was waiting for him. Uses the all-out to cancel the hook shot. This is gorgeous stuff from Gentle Hearts right now, and they found a pick. Now everyone else from Star Nation is on the top side, but they can't start the Baron because Corndog and Tactics are still here. They just have control of the Dragon Pit for the moment, and they're going to keep and maintain that priority while Darkin is dead to try and get themselves onto Soul Point. Also try and siege the tier 2. It looks like a fight is broken out in mid. The calling is being committed here from Cammy. Has to be careful though. Going to use the dash to get away. Excellent spacing here from the Lucian. This is how aggressive you want to play, especially when you have both summoners available. You play as far up as you can, and you just sit there in front of them and say, try to catch me, I dare you, and I will put you to bed, and continue to keep this mid prio for my team. So that's what Cammy's doing right now. They're easily able to take the dragon because of this. Gentle Hearts, off that smart pick bot side, are able to get full control and are one away from Soul.
Yeah, and all that damage onto Eugene forced him to have to walk out. Before, maybe they could have tried considering looking for a pick. Once your Poppy's at half HP, there's no play to be made there anymore. They had to give up the third dragon, and that's Soul Point now. The game has slowed down a lot, so it does seem like it will go to Soul. Whether or not Gentle Hearts Gaming ends up claiming it or not is one question, but I do think they're going to play around the fourth dragon later this game.
And I think that's smart.
there's no real window. You're ahead, but you're not that far ahead to brute force end situation from this point of the game right now. In the next 5 minutes, that would just not very likely. So yeah, your game plan exactly right, Toki. You are playing for soul. You're going to grab that soul. You're going to try and play for prio around the Baron, get yourself a Baron, and slowly start to win this game. Although the Jinx is scaling, the Camille is scaling, so they are still on a bit of a timer. And it's not like they can't win if the Jinx and the Camille scale. They still are strong champions themselves, but they do have to keep that in the back of their mind where they do have a strong late game. Although we don't want to make a mistake, we still have to keep the pressure on if we're Gentle Hearts, and we still have to look for any opportunity that Star Nation gives us to expand our lead more. And a lot of that will come from these tier 2 turrets that are still all alive for Star Nation. That's a lot of gold for Gentle Hearts to pick up and can balloon their gold lead into a much more comfortable position. More comfortable than they already are.
Yeah, and it's very smart of them. Oh, as a fight breaks out.
Oh, tactics. Gonna use the Glacial Fissure here to knock up a bunch, but Corndog went way far forward with the cease and desist, but Skedaddle is here to back him up. Eugene now forced to run away, and Gentle Hearts will disengage. The Super Mega Death Rocket will deal a lot of damage, but an excellent charm from Teals will catch out the jungler. And now all they have to do is peel off and look towards the Baron because the jungler from Star Nation is dead. JMG is forced to reset, and they are going to look for this now, or at least they should look for this. Darkin is pressuring the mid tower. They're actually going to look for a fight and try and keep this mid tower alive. This is the play that they are going to go for. I don't think they should chase any further. They should just turn tail towards the Baron. 23 seconds still on Eugene. I think they can go for this.
Yeah, and they're gonna start rushing right over. It's important to note that almost every single summoner used from Star Nation, their entire bot side does not have Ghost, Flash, Heal, Flash on either of their members. And I'm curious if they're trying to bait out a fight, and they do hit
what
the charm.
an excellent use of Bush Vision again. And this time it's Tactics waiting there. And Darkin just walks right into the trap. Now it's 5 versus 3. But still Star Nation feel they have to try and contest this or it's not going to be favorable for them. The turn is happening right now. I don't know if this is the right play because Eugene's going to make it back to the Baron pit. They're kiting pretty nicely. Look at Maker dealing all the damage he needs to do. All he needs is one reset and this Jinx could take over this fight. There he goes. There's the first kill. Cease and desist forward onto the Jinx, but they're going to have enough damage to finish it off. Corndog taking up in the front line. And Teals will continue the fight. Cammy on the top side is on a 1v1 against Eugene. He's going to win that one out. A double kill for the Lucian. They're chasing down to try and get Balder, whose dash away is going to be stopped. They're going to get the full ace. And now they might turn their attention to the Baron. They do have low HP bars though, and Darkin has TP, so they're not going to do it, but they still turn the fight. They pick up the tier 2. Gentle Hearts now at a comfortable 6,000 gold lead.
Yeah, take a breath, Ferris, but that was an insane team fight coming out. They're able to hit every single ability. You can tell right now, Gentle Hearts Gaming, they're feeling themselves. And I don't want to bring this up to anyone who remembers this game, but CLG EU versus We5 way back in the day, it is that game over. You just keep going over to the Baron. They will walk into you. You kill them, rinse and repeat. Baron's still there. At this point, it might even be bad for Gentle Hearts Gaming to take Baron because that's how they've started almost every single one of their fights. But rinse and repeat. This play, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Keep going.
Absolutely, and they're right back to it. They're listening to you, Toki. You're channeling the W energy for the squad right now, and they are going right back to that mid-prow, right back to that Baron. They got Skedaddle down in the bot side, making sure Darkin isn't collecting any gold from the towers and the objective bounties. Eugene over the wall hitting onto Tactics. Not going to find much there.
Yeah, they're getting desperate.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're going on to Tactics of all players, you know, they're just looking for any fight where maybe they'll be caught out. And honestly, that is the right call for them. I think they do need to try and force something. When you're this far behind, Soul points up in 15 seconds. We have Baron already up. We've been playing around it.
They're trying to fight for this mid tower. They're going super hard for it. The cease and desist goes on to Maker, but there's no one there to follow up for the moment. But it's a double TP in the backside. They are able to find the flank that they need. They just got to finish off those low health bars. Look at Skedaddle here, trying to do enough damage onto Maker to pick him up, and they're going to be able to do so. That's 2 kills. It's a 2-for-1 for the moment, but Skedaddle with the ghost is going to chase down the million and make that 3 kills now for Gentle Hearts. And they might just say, to hell with the Baron, let's go ahead and end the game. It is only Darkin and Valder alive to defend the base.
Yeah, Teals dies in the background, but he's able to buy so much time, keeping Darkin Warrior and Velder occupied. And their team is about that combo. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to end this, but they're definitely going to try, and that's what I love to see.
Going to try. They are 4 versus 2 rather. They definitely feel confident enough to go for this. Valder and Darkin have to make something happen here. The first Nexus Tower will drop the taunt onto all 4. Do they have the damage to finish it up? Valder is going to go golden and delay his death for the moment. They're able to grab one, and they're only going to lose 1 Nexus Tower. I do think this is pretty good, though, for Gentle Hearts, because Baron's not taken. They can chase them down. They do have resets now, and the Chemtech Drake is up, so Star Nation might be able to deny that, too.
Yeah, Teals is back up, though. He should be able to run out onto the map. I'm assuming he's waiting for an item. They will be able to deny Soul Point, but I still think that's worth it for Gentle Hearts Gaming. Because while Soul Point is great for Gentle Hearts Gaming, the second Dragon, it doesn't really do anything for Star Nation. And for that trade, they were able to get every tower in the mid lane. They got the inhibitor. They got one of the 2 Nexus towers. And typically, mid lane inhibitor being down doesn't provide that much pressure in terms of actually killing the Nexus, as opposed to a side lane. But with only 1 tower defending it, it's going to push in hard. And Baron is still up. They're able to continue to bait Baron and use that to start another play. And honestly, I don't think Star Nation has a way to address this. They have to come and answer this. They can't go for the steal. If they give it away, I don't think that's worth it for them either, because especially right now, they only have 1 Nexus Tower left and nothing else in the mid lane. And with the goal difference and the strength difference that Gentle Hearts Gaming has right now, I think they're going to be able to take this very far and probably look to end the game here.
Well, Darkin was able to grab a tier 2, so that was the trade. Definitely not worth it for Star Nation, but it does depend on how well Gentle Hearts can use this Baron to their advantage. Valder is way overextended right now, has now met with Tactics, who has flanked him here, gonna taunt up Teals, do a good chunk of damage. This guy is pretty tanky. He has a lot of magic resist. Can he get out? Tries to use the heroic entrance to escape, but that's going to be canceled, and the first kill will be picked up. But Darkin is here with the TP. The heroic charge will stun up Teals, who's going to try and flash away and use the last charge of Spear Rush to get out, but the the tactical sweep from Darkin will pick up this kill. It's actually going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Star Nation, but they do have to get back. And actually, it's going to be Tactics to try and cancel their bases. Hold on a second. They might have just traded 2 kills for the Nexus. That's what it's going to be. This could just be the end of the game. Hit the Nexus. That's all that Gentle Hearts have to think about. Don't hit the Camille. Don't hit anyone else. Just hit the Nexus. And that's the way the game ends. Oh my gosh, it's a fumble from Star Nation. They thought they had 2 kills that could propel them to a favorable fight, but it turns out to just be them blundering their Nexus away, and that is going to be the series. Gentle Hearts complete the reverse sweep and start their season off 1-0.
Yeah, they're able to get that 2-1 win, and that ending was insane. So first, they catch out Velder on that Galio, and then immediately after, Star Nation's like, well, you thought you caught our Galio, but really we caught you. And Gentle Hearts Gaming, once again, immediately replies, well, yes, okay, you got him. You got Teals, you got Tactics. We're just going to go and take your base. We're going to go and take that win. Really beautiful game. Honestly, both teams played amazingly. This was a very entertaining series. The macro was insane from these 2 teams, and if this is something we can look forward to for the rest of this split, I'm super excited for, honestly, both these teams.
I'm super excited as well. That was an absolute banger 3-game series. We had 3 exciting games, like you mentioned, Toki, and Gentle Hearts were able to come out on top as well. Both teams, they fought it out nicely, but in the end, Gentle Hearts just had that extra edge over them. They were team fighting a little bit better. They were more coordinated in their plays. They were able to get picks and play the neutral objectives slightly better, especially around that Baron. And that was key for them closing out this series. And that's going to wrap it up for the stream. So Toki, I'll kick it over to you if you want to say anything else before we sign off.
I just want to thank everyone for coming, and this stream was brought to you by HelloFresh. Use the link in the chat that I'm pasting right now. All proceeds from this HelloFresh sponsor will be going directly into Gentle Hearts Gaming and keeping all these streams alive for hopefully many years to come. But thank you all for watching, and have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.